Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And if you're on Apple Podcasts, please give us a 5-star review so we can continue to give you the ish that we talk. And now that is out the way, I will not act like I'm on AM fucking radio. What the fuck's the deal? All of you ugly motherfuckers. What's poppin'? I'm here with you. We here together. We gonna make this shit pop. Lindsay, what the fuck is going on? My dog.
Like, what will be a breaking point for you where you just like, you know what? I'm out.
All right. Yeah, so I was about to say this is where we asked the audience.
Yeah.
So
you already
said cheating, right?
Yeah. Cheating.
Okay.
So
Anybody
you're not giving a pass or nothing like that.
There ain't no way.
That's no way.
Do it once and do it twice. There ain't no way. You lose respect for yourself.
So it's like if it's just cheating for her, like so if it's cheating for you the same way too? Yeah. So like if you cheat, do you feel like I need to leave this relationship?
If I would ever cheat, I would leave you first. I would leave you first.
You such a gentleman.
I do what I do.
You such a gentleman. That shit don't happen in real life, but you such a gentleman. Anything else?
In the moment.
In the moment.
That's different. I wouldn't be in the moment.
So you wouldn't put yourself in the moment. I got you.
Yeah. Like make it make sense. Like, cause what's the moment?
When I decide it's the moment, it's the moment.
Oh, okay.
If I never say to myself like, I should probably get out of here.
So like, do the whole time you just like, oh no, this cool. This ain't. We just chilling. She just want to rub my back. That's cool. Ain't nobody tripping. It's like, oh, okay, okay, oh, all right, you ain't gotta kiss my neck. That's okay. Cool. This is not the moment yet.
Not yet.
It's not the moment yet.
I didn't do it.
So it's like, now my pants is down. This is.
If she pulls them down.
Oh, this ain't the moment. This ain't the moment. This ain't the moment.
She did it.
This ain't the moment. So when is the moment? When you're done, you like, yeah, this is the moment.
It's sad, bro. I'm like, I was supposed to go to the store. I was gone for 2 hours. That shit.
I had to go get my bro,
That's
right?
The moment, yep.
That's the moment.
That's the moment.
Okay, so that's your.
What you
So this is cheating for you. Like, if she cheats, oh hell no. But like, I just had to wait on the moment. Like, no. That's ain't the moment. That wasn't the moment. No, she sucked my d- I didn't ask for it.
If I don't say the words.
It's like, no, I didn't know. You know when I feel something wrong, baby, I'm gonna just tell you the truth. When she was like, I was like, maybe it's time for me. Ain't no restaurateur gonna run up on Keith Lee. Let's just end that shit right there. Y'all talk a lot of shit, but y'all not about to run up on. Ain't nobody about to run up on him, slap no food out his face, and tell him, bitch, what? Like, that's just not gonna happen to you in no way, shape, possible.
So Saucy Santana got in on it. He pretty much was like, tag me in. And he snapped on DJ Academics and told him to pull up. He was like, go to my page. We got all kinds of bookings. We outside. Come pull up at one of the bookings. You know, and I'll beat your motherfucking ass.
Saucy Santana just doesn't look like the homosexual man that you gonna hit, and he look like that dude off of Low Down Dirty Shades. He ain't about to grab his face and be like, oh, Bernard.
Him, you slut! Bernard.
He about to beat the dog shit out of you.
Like, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I'm laughing because it's gonna be so funny because you're gonna see a dude massively beating the shit out of a man with an open fist, and you're gonna hear bitch. Yeah, bitch. 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 Over here. Bitch. Bitch. Over here. Bitch. What up, y'all? This is the It's That We Talk. I am Lily. I am the host of this show. You know, I try to do everything that I can to get you to not only watch us, but also probably hate me. But if you are agreeing with everything I say, man, I love it too. You know, with all of the people that follow, you gotta have haters as well. I got something in my eye. Jesus Christ. I am with the amazing, the talented, the man, creme de la creme of co-hosts I could ever have. I have the luxury of every weekend to sit with a powerhouse of a person that pushes the bells and the whistles and keep this thing moving. Y'all have to give the utmost respect for my co-host, my family, my friend, Lindsay.
Hello, how's it going? How's life?
And we just trying to get by.
Yeah.
Trying to get by.
Yeah.
Man, we got the pleasantries out the way, but I also want to give a big shout out to TikTok, and I want to give a big shout out to Twitch. You guys are relentless, and y'all help us push these streams. I love y'all the most. But let's talk about regular things. Lindsay, how's your health? How's your wealth? What is going down, my dog?
Well, everything's okay on my end. You know, just getting ready for Beyonce, that's all. What about you? What's going on with you?
You know, just living life like it's golden. Trying to really be a man. Like, I ain't even gonna lie to the world or to you. Like, even like I've come to this conclusion, and I've come to this conclusion this morning, that sometimes if you are not hyper focused as a man on how to take care of your family, you say and do the dumbest shit. I did one of the dumbest things in the world the other day, just because I just wasn't thinking about nothing. I was just purely on just Lily shit. My man called me and was like, you know, it was his birthday, so he's like, I'm gonna have a hotel. I'm having this hotel party come through, nigga. Where you at? And I'm like, I'm at home, like whatever. But bet I'll come there. So, you know, me being a man and thinking like, all right, let her know where I'm about to go. Ended at that and just go. She put up this fuss about me leaving, and I was like, why are you tripping? I woke up the next morning and I realized I told her I was going to a hotel party at 2 in the motherfucking morning.
Ooh.
Hey, exactly. Exactly. I was so just caught up on just shit, whatever. I'm just up. I'm whatever. And I'm going to shoot there. And I did not realize, like, even though I knew it was the time, I knew what time it was. I think just my selfish kicked in. And I was just like, nah, because I ain't doing shit. I'm just about to go kick it with my nigga. I've been sitting here drinking. I'm going to go over there, sit and drink. We going to kick it. I'm going to come back home. Everything is all well with the world.
No.
That's what said.
No.
Go ahead and go.
No.
Jasmine was like, go ahead and go. Yeah, just go ahead and go. And I was like, are you sure? She was like, yeah, just go ahead and go. Something in that told me, don't you fucking go nowhere.
Right. Don't cross that threshold, like, at all.
And she let me know. She said, nigga, if you would have walked out the house, you wouldn't have not been, you would never be able to get back in the house. And I was like, what? She was like, nigga, do you know what time it was? Like, nigga, you're going to a hotel party.
No.
Nigga. A hotel, but she was like, it's a hotel party at 2 in the morning. She said, man, it's fist and pussy at that moment. Like, and you just decided to get your ass up and
go. Wow, you tried it. You definitely tried it. And you didn't realize You didn't realize the issue until the next morning?
Yeah, I ain't even gonna lie to you.
So when you decided not to go, what made you not go?
The tone.
Oh, okay.
For her to be like, if you want to, hey, go ahead and go. Like, it wouldn't even know who's there. Like, I know her. Who's there? Who, know what I'm saying? How long you gonna be? This is the conversation. It wasn't even that. It was, go ahead. Go ahead.
All right, great.
Yeah, all right, go ahead and go.
All right, go. So,
hey, I went.
Yeah. So if the tables were turned, if she were to have said, "Hey, my homegirl having a hotel party, I'm about to go stop through. You know, it's her birthday, and I'm gonna be right back." Would you have thought twice about it?
You know, asking me that in real time, I honestly will say this, because I trust her. I would have thought something was fishy, but I would have let her go.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I would have been like, this sounds crazy, but all right, whatever, fuck it. But hindsight is 2020. Like I said, it was one of those things where, and even I told her, I was like, damn, when I woke up sober me, I was like, what the fuck was I even thinking?
Yeah.
I literally wouldn't. I just was like, I'm gonna just go hang out with my guy, come right on back as drunk me, and I was like, nah, I shouldn't have never did that. And then I went this morning I went over my cousin's house because I've been helping her with her mobility and trying to work her out a little bit. I was telling her about the situation. She said, nigga, you would have never been able to get back in the house. What are we talking about?
No, because you would have got there, you would have been there for a minute, and then tried to come back, or you would have been too drunk to even come back. Like,
yeah.
And then by the time you actually do return, it would have been hell up in Harlem.
Yeah, she said, nigga.
Yeah.
He was like, she better than me, because I would have changed every lock that at that moment. As soon as you walked out the house, all those locks would have been changed.
Yeah. You know, I've never been that mate to like ask for permission from or anything like that, but I definitely would have tried it. I definitely would have tried it. Like, okay, so you're leaving at 2:30 in the morning to go hang out. Okay, so I'm gonna leave at 2:30 in the morning to go hang out. I'll probably go nowhere but over to my mama's house or my sister's house or something. But you won't know that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're gonna feel some type of way. You know, so
it's what it is. She keeps saying it. She like, yeah, you tried it.
Right.
And legit, as a man, everybody listening to us right now, legit as a man, I really didn't try it. I was just on some drunk shit and was like, I'm about to hang out with my nigga, and that's it. That's all. And even my cousin said, she was like, nigga, we planned you coming to work out with me, nigga. If you would have did that, you wouldn't even have been able to come out here. She knew you were coming to do this. Like, you fucked up the whole weekend. And I was like, oh shit, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, for real, you would have. And then on top of that, if you're drunk, you don't need to be going nowhere, no way. So then there's that, you know what I mean?
I would have did it. Like, if I wasn't a person that pays attention to social cues, this, even us having this podcast today would have been a whole crazy scenario. I would have probably had this podcast with this nigga sitting on my lap, because she would have definitely been like, you get him, I'm gone, and I ain't telling you when I'm coming back.
Right. Just be gone. You won't see her till Monday morning.
Exactly. And I couldn't, thinking about it out loud, I'm like, you can't even be mad at that.
Not one bit.
Because
you brought it on yourself.
I didn't even think about it. I was just like, fuck it. Like, she heard the conversation, so you know what I'm saying? It's one of those things where it's not like I'm lying. I just literally was just like, hey, shit, I'm about to go. And she like, Okay. All right, go ahead.
Right.
And I'm like, are you sure? She said, yeah, go ahead. Right? Just understand what time it is. I'm like, I'm just about to go have a drink. What the fuck you talking about? Okay, go ahead. And I said, nah, I ain't even gonna go. I ain't even gonna go.
I'm glad you didn't. I'm glad you didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So you ready to get into these topics?
Let's get into these topics.
All right. Well, the first one you're gonna spearhead. So yeah. We're talking about the big, beautiful bill.
Listen, I will say this off the flip, talking about the big, beautiful bill. I am not a political dude at all, y'all. So I hope y'all don't expect me to go on a tangent of certain things because I'm not. Only thing I will say is the certain things that I did pay attention to in this big, beautiful bill. One thing I will start off with is this, because for my lower class individuals, niggas that live like me, or, you know, I don't want to call y'all the N-word because there's a lot of white folks that listen to us too. But y'all niggas in my book, y'all my niggas, because y'all fuck with me. What I will say is, let's talk about that. In this big, beautiful bill, my people who are bartenders, waiters, that live off tips, you can get, you don't have to tax your tips anymore. So it is a potential for you to move past your tax bracket if you know that, if you know how to manage your money. Let's just all just focus on what the this big beautiful bill is. It is for people that know how to manage money. If you don't know how to manage money, the big beautiful bill is going to be a problem for you. But let's just say this: for my people who are tip earners, you don't have to tax a lot of your tips to a certain amount. No, it's not going to be you're not going to be able to like just go scot free on a lot of things. You're not going to skate by a lot of stuff, but for a certain amount of tips, you don't have to tax. So that's going to be more money in your pocket.
Okay.
You still gotta pay. You still got to, and so this is the thing. Because I really, this is on a federal level, so that means you're not paying federal tax. You still are going to be state and local tax, though.
Okay, so, okay, so you'll be claiming all your taxes. That doesn't change, or not your taxes. You'll be claiming all your tips, so that doesn't change. But on the federal level, they're not gonna claim that as taxable income.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, got you. All right.
Exactly. So for my tip workers, for my people that are working overtime, same way. And I know with the overtime people, it's up to $12,500. So you're going to be able to deduct $12,500 a year. It's tax deductible. So you're going to get a little bit more back from your overtime. But at the same time, you have to understand this. It's always goods and bad. So, you know, you'll go to YouTube and a nigga will say, hey, this is great. Blah. I'm telling you, you know what companies are going to do? They're going to start penalizing niggas that get too much overtime. Because now they have to pay that shit back. You got to think of the ins and the outs of it. You thinking, hey, if you a person who was used to getting like 64 hours in overtime, and you like, ooh, now I'm getting a little bit of that money back, so I'm gonna be really looking at a bigger paycheck. Your company is gonna be like, oh, nah, we're gonna start penalizing them because if you don't have to pay it, who you think has to pay it? So they're gonna charge the business more for you working overtime. So y'all are gonna start getting penalized for your overtime. Just be mindful of that. I'm not saying it's gonna, you know what I'm saying, be one of those things where you're gonna end up losing your job, but they really want it to be on the level of
everybody needs to be working at least in a 2-week time span. They probably gonna give you 90, maybe 100 hours. It ain't no more of that 120 hour this. 100, they not because they're gonna companies are gonna start penalizing you because they're gonna have to pay for you to actually be in their place, and they don't want to do that. But ain't nobody gonna tell you that when it comes to this big beautiful bill, because they're only gonna tell you like, hey, this is the pros into this. The con into that is your company gonna be like, hey, listen, you getting too much overtime. I know you use this overtime because you take care of your abuela, but check this out. I'm gonna need you to cut it down just a little bit. Maybe you need to spend a little bit more time than financial assets with your abuela. Like, and that's what's gonna happen.
That's if your abuela is still here, but you know,
wow.
She might go back to Mexico.
Wow, I didn't do that. I didn't say that, y'all.
Hey, just being realistic, because I mean, all of this is going on at the same time.
That is true.
Yeah. Another
thing that I want my people who live in my tax bracket. Listen, I don't. Whoever's listening to us, I'm poor. So another thing that we need to worry about as the poors, flat out. Like, I ain't got a lot of y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, as the poors,
you can't afford a whole shirt. You know.
You see how that shit works? You know, I kind of wanted to show off my body because a lot of people been saying like, no, you ain't you still that fat ass nigga, and I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, well, I've been really doing my shit. Like, y'all should have
in the gym, just working on my fitness.
Y'all should have seen me in tacos and tequila. I was like showing these motherfuckers. I was showing this shit off. But anyway. Another thing that I want my people to pay attention to is the small business part of the big beautiful bill, or the business just per se. I will say any of my people that are trying to invest, you need to start investing in either defense or actual fossil fuel, because that's what that affects. That they're gonna push them. So if you get in there now, if you jump in there now, you might have you might are going to be able to have, like, you know, a leg up on certain people that's gonna get it on the ass end. So I would say try to do it now. Me personally, just because I am poor, I've worked in the plan of when I'm going to get into certain things. Focus on EFTs that focus on fossil fuel, focus on EFTs that focus on AI, things of that nature, because that's going to come into play. That's going to help y'all out. Also, state and local tax, which is SALT. That a lot of people was looking at this bill like, what the fuck is SALT? SALT is state and local tax. For my individuals that are in California or New York that have property, it is going to be beneficial for you because it's going to allow you to shave off some of your tax when it comes to owning that property. For individuals that don't live in a high APR state, then you don't even have to worry about this. This is dust in the wind to you. You're still going to be paying whatever you've been paying. If your shit is like 22%, it's going to stay at 22%. But for my people that stay in California or stay in New York, 22% means a whole lot to them because they probably have been paying like 35 to 37. So that's going to, know what I'm saying, that's going to mean a lot to those individuals, not you. Don't come out here and be like, oh man, I'm going to get some tax write-off. I'm going to get me a loan. I'm going to buy all this land in Colombia. Not if you're not used to paying 22%, my nigga. No, you're not.
No, I'm buy all this land in Colombia. I'm weak.
You know what I'm saying? Just being fair. If you're not used to paying your taxes, this is wrong. This is for all of our people who are living like me. This is just telling you have to get your ducks in a row and you have to get your shit checked because of how they're doing things. Another thing I want y'all to focus on with this is They took almost $1 trillion from state-funded things as far as SNAP, Medicaid, all, you know what I'm saying, all of these things, and they diverted it to defense. So for my individuals, if you are a 27-year-old lady right now who has a couple of children, and so, you know, because of food stamps and child support, you decide not to work, I'm telling you right now, that's about to change. That's about to change for you. You need to have at least 80 hours a month of either volunteer work or actually working. If you don't show that, they're going to take your shit away from you. It just is what it is. If you are not disabled and you are a person that is on Medicaid and SNAP and you are under the age of 34 years old, you just been working the system, they're going to stop that shit. It's going to stop quick, fast, and in a hurry. And they're going to cut it off. Now, it's a bad thing for you. It's also a bad thing for the state, because this is where SALT comes back into play. This is how we're going to end up paying more money in different states, because if the government finds out that on the state level that they have mistakes in all of these Medicaid, food stamps, all of this assistance, if they find mistakes in that, they're fining the state. And so when they fine the state has to pay. In order for the state to pay, they have to raise your taxes. It's going to be an onslaught of bullshit for a lot of us.
Yeah.
I know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't talk about that. But I'm going to be the person that talks about that. When you go on YouTube and you're anywhere else, they're going to tell you the goods about it, and then they're going to tell you what to watch out for us federally. No, I'm telling you, at your state, if your state has a mistake, like if they find several mistakes that they were paying people that shouldn't have paid people, or they denied people that they shouldn't have denied, they're going to make them pay a fee for that. That is a fine. And they're not going to just pull that out of their reserves. They're going to start taxing more. So expect for y'all think we keep the cost of living is raising up now. The cost of living is about to be crazy. And I ain't gonna say it like that. Like, you're not gonna pay like $40 for eggs, but you're gonna end up paying a significant amount. Like that bag of chips that you was like, cool, it's $5. I don't care about $5. It's gonna really start hitting you differently when that motherfucker becomes $7. So, you know, pay attention to that. That is, again, it's one of those. I come from a neutral part of these things. I'm never gonna tell you the good without the bad. So I gave you the good, but I got to give you the bad on that.
Yeah.
You know, another thing that I want people to pay attention to with this big bill is actually the fact that they are funding defense so much that like ICE and all those are getting bonuses. So if you think they're tough now, they about to be, what Game say? 50 Cent got he got security to like straight up jump in your window type. If you think ICE is a problem now, just imagine a ICE person who is a higher ranking ICE officer and is guaranteed a $40,000 bonus for certain things that he do. If you don't think that motherfucker coming out, and when I say this with the utmost respect. Y'all be thinking y'all be like, black people ain't helping us, black people ain't helping us. Some of these black folks with credentials, they ain't gonna help you. They gonna jump in that motherfucker to get that $40,000 bonus. Yeah, I'm one of them. I've been telling y'all from the jump. I'm one of them people. I stay on that. All skin folk ain't kin folk. You about to see that. You about to see your Jefe turn coattail on you real quick.
Yeah.
So pay attention to that. Other than that, they have a lot of things. It's a lot of word salad in it. One thing I do want to debunk, and say that right now is, in that big beautiful bill, it is nothing in there that says women cannot vote. It is certain things that you have to do if you're a married woman.
Like what?
Vote. So if your Social Security card has your maiden name, which it does because it's your Social Security card, now you have to make sure that all your credentials is right. So if you're a married individual, you have to make sure you come in there with not only your social, but your passport if you have it, or a real ID.
Listen, and when we were having this whole frenzy about the real ID a couple months ago, I found this out. So people that have been married multiple times that changed their name, they had to bring their marriage license and their divorce decree for all their marriages to go get their license. And that was crazy. So I have a cousin who was like married and divorced in the 70s, and she had to go get that marriage and divorce documents.
You gotta go find those.
Yeah, mind you, she had been married and divorced again, and she had those, but yeah, she had to go find those. And then she was born in Kansas, so she had to go to Topeka to go get her birth certificate. So it was a real mess for her to go get that real ID. Yeah, and then like with my mom, had she went and got the real ID, she would have had to get the marriage and divorce for both her marriages too. And she was married in states that are not Missouri both times. So yeah.
I see this violent.
Right. Like she was like, I'm not having my weddings here. I'm not gonna do that. But yeah.
She stopped here like that. I could see her saying that. She stopped here. You supposed to be like, all right, bet. Where are we going then? Cancun? All right, whatever.
Right. So yeah, but she didn't do it. She's the one that told me about it and told me about the issue, because she was telling me about the issues with my cousin, and because she was with her going through some of the stuff. And when she was telling me the story, so I was like, so you would have had to do that for both your marriages? She was like, yes, but she has a passport, so she didn't do it at all. So I was just like, I'm not getting a real ID because I have a passport. And I was like, and I have the passport card that I travel with anyway. So
yeah,
I'm just gonna travel with my passport. Just keep doing like I've been doing, But yeah.
It's one of those. I encourage everybody to get a passport. I have a real ID, just because it was just one of those things where I just happened to have all the credentials at the time when I went to renew my license. They was like, if you got a bill that's in your name, and I'm like, yeah, that shit in the card. Like, like yeah, man, like boom, boom. I do have a real ID. So I'm not gonna say it's a requirement, but it is. I will say you need to get a passport, just because it's gonna be real hard to move about the country, and it's all about the immigration, y'all. It has. It's not one of those things where they're trying to track you or trying to figure you out. Bop, bop, bop. The government been doing that anyway. The whole thing in a nutshell is it has been a lot of people who are undocumented that have been staying here under the radar. And that's what this government is looking at on as far as a money scale of we're taking care of too many people who are not documented citizens, and not even going into no conspiracy theory or anything, but if they have a social security number with you, that automatically allows them a certain amount of money. That's just what the government is. When they issue your social security number, all of us are guaranteed a certain amount of money on that. Like a lot of people, you'll see a lot of people on the internet like be Be your own citizen and wah. And the reason why they're telling you that is because if you didn't fuck up and your credit wasn't bad or anything of that nature, you actually can get grants and loans up to a whatever, and I think it's $1 million that is guaranteed with that Social Security number. So that's how the government plays things, and it's not one of those things where I'm telling you a conspiracy theories or anything, but this is something that is just legal business. It's legal tender. When you become an American citizen, you are now a commodity, and for them, you're worth $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
So that and so they're thinking about all these undocumented people that are here. They think it's well over 72 million undocumented people. That's $72 million that they like we ain't fucking touching.
Yeah.
So that's why they're being so hard on this. Like on a business end, you should understand what they're doing, and then also on if you was a nigga with 17 kids, I need to know where all the 17 of these motherfucking kids is. Like you gotta. I don't be biased on that. I know what I'm saying. As much as people want to be on the government's head, I'm not gonna be on the government's head on that. I get it. I understand that completely.
Yeah. Excuse me. I'm not gonna sit up here and act like I understand the whole immigration situation, because I don't. I just understand what you see, and what you see, like the optics of it is terrible. You know, like being taken from your family and all that kind of stuff like that. That's nobody is waking up this morning like, how can I separate kids from their parents?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, you know, there should be certain things that should be exceptions, like a kid with cancer that's getting treatment here. That should be an exception, you know what I mean? But I remember a real long time ago, I went to this braiding place, and I was getting my hair braided by some Caribbeans. And this was the first time I heard a foreigner's perspective on immigration and stuff. And this was I'm talking about, I think Obama was in his first term when I went. And this lady that was braiding my hair, she was just like, I had to go through the process, so they got to go through the process too.
It's
I was like,
a lot
you
of
know
people
what?
that too.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? Can't nobody argue with you with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't in the conversation. I was just listening, obviously, because she's braiding my hair. But yeah, like she was like so steadfast with that thought, and she was just like, it's not fair. I had to go through the process, so they got to go through the process too. You know, I can't be mad at you for thinking that, because it ain't fair. Like, you're right, it ain't fair.
I know a lot of immigrants that feel that way. A couple of immigrants that I work with, they do that. Like I know one lady in particular, she just made sure that her work visa was secure, and she got like, you know, a 6-year because the card that she has is expired, but she's got her documentation that says she has 6 years to still work and still do this. And she was like, even that process takes fucking forever. And she was like, so like, no, I don't want to pay for somebody else to be here that didn't do what I went through.
Yeah.
You know, and I have that, you know what I'm saying, mindset of I can't fault you for that. I don't have to I don't have to go through what you went through because I was born here. But at the same time, because of my bloodline, I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's some people in my bloodline that's like, nah, yeah, go through that motherfucking process, nigga. Like, what are you talking about? Like, no, I still got to do it.
Yeah.
Like, I got aunties and uncles. I got a Korean motherfucking auntie, and I'm pretty sure she has to do the same thing, but she does it in order for these people to get off her back.
Yeah.
Like, so, like now I get what people saying. Like, nah, at one point, man, you got to stop thinking when you get over here, you're gonna be a lazy American. Get off your ass and do that shit, because that's what we do.
Yeah.
Like, so I get what they saying.
Yeah. I definitely get what they saying as well. You know what I'm saying? I know someone who is going through it, but one thing that is not a problem is his green card.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like that mug, but it, like, we're living in a day and age that just reminds me of times when our ancestors had to carry around them freedom papers.
And yeah.
You know? And that it's kind of disheartening to see us kind of revert back to that, you know. And that's the part that sucks about it, because, you know, people are going to be asking foreigners, like, where's your green card? What's your green card status? You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's kind of like asking Black folks, where are your freedom papers? Let me see them.
You know, I'm so glad you said this, because this been weighing heavy. Like this, I'll get back on the bill, but I'll say this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we had this conversation before on the podcast, and I said my opinion. That night, I had a weird ass dream, and I'll tell you, and I'll tell everybody that's listening to us right now. I had this weird ass dream where all of a sudden, boom, 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 motherfuckers kicked in my door, lights all in my face. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. They put me in a motherfucking holding cell. I'm thinking in my mind, 24-hour investigation. I don't know what the fuck, who I've been dealing with, but I don't do shit at all, so I'm cool. I just gotta tell them everything, you know what I'm saying, that I've been doing. Like, that's one thing I tell niggas all the time in 24-hour investigations. Nigga, they want you to snitch on somebody else. Just tell them what you do. You know what I'm saying? Like, period, dot. Like, boom. So I'm thinking I'm going through this situation, and these motherfuckers is telling me they're sending me to Atlanta. I'm like, nigga, what the fuck is in Atlanta? Like, where's my son? Like, and I'm trying to tell, and they just not telling me anything. They telling me this is where I'm going. And I'm like, no, nigga, where's my son at? And they're not, you know what I'm saying? They wouldn't give me no information. All they said is, oh, he'll be placed where he needs to be placed. And I'm like, he needs to be placed with his fucking daddy. Like, I had this crazy where I'm in a frenzy. I woke up sweating and crying. And I was trying to figure out why I had that dream. And I looked myself in the mirror, and 100% I looked at it, and I was like, because you can't tell somebody how to be persecuted or hurt. Like, I know what I'm saying. When we was on that podcast, that was one of the things that went through my head, because I told them you got to lose something first. And I had a dream of, what if you lose your son? And I was like, I can't tell nobody how to feel. I can't tell nobody how to feel on that type of shit. Like, I'm like, damn, like, it was like the world telling me, like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? It sound good, but nah, because another person gonna, know what I'm saying? Another person gonna tell you, like, well, at least you going to Atlanta. And I'm like, no, nigga, what the fuck is in Atlanta? My son ain't there. You know what I'm saying?
I don't give a fuck about no Atlanta, nigga.
Exactly. I don't give a fuck about no Atlanta. I don't give a fuck about what opportunities over. I don't give a fuck about where my fucking son at. And so I was like, damn, I was like, I've it ain't one of those things where I'm like, I'm gonna apologize for what I said, but what I will say is, yeah, I can't tell you how to feel about it though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I can't tell you how to feel it, because in that moment, I know what I felt, and that dream was 100% real to me. Where I'm talking about, I woke up sweating and crying, like I cried, like you know what I'm saying, like, because I was just like, man, I would never want to place myself in a situation where they put me in a box and then they put my kid somewhere where I can't hold him, I can't tell him everything gonna be okay. I don't know what he's going through. My son is codependent with off his daddy. I'm codependent off my son. It ain't a day we don't be around each other. Yeah. Even when that nigga's over his grandfather's house, it's like, boom, we'll call. I know, hey, how you doing? Boom, boom. But this nigga knows his daddy. And And I was like, "Ooh, shit! I gotta change my approach," because I'm like, I can't tell you what it is to lose something, because in the moments you losing something,
right. You can't do shit about it,
and you can't do shit about it.
That just, that is basically teaching you the impact of your voice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and that comes with, doing what we're doing. It's gonna, I mean, Lord willing, it's gonna reach a lot of ears. So you just really have to be mindful. Nobody's saying that you can't have your convictions or whatnot, but you really have to be mindful with what you say. And not saying that you shouldn't think the way you think or you shouldn't voice your opinion, but just be mindful.
Exactly. Because that's how I looked at it. I was like, ooh, shit. I was like, damn.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I shouldn't have, like, I almost made it, like, when I looked at it too, and I was like, oh shit. I feel like if I was a white man saying that, I sound like I'm, you know what I'm saying? I sound like I'm totally against y'all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, I think that's why I'm not one of those people to be on no extra. Like, I'm not gonna be on spiritual anything, but I will say, I think that was my conscience telling me, like, hold on, like, think about what you're saying.
Yeah.
You say things. Like, I get what you're saying, because what I said, again, I'm not taking back what I said, because what I said was truth. Also, it was a level of what's embedded in my DNA, and the pain and the and the atrocities that, you know what I'm saying, my DNA has in me. At the same time, it's like, with those pain and those tremendous atrocities that happen to my Black people, at the same time, I can't throw that on somebody. I should never tell you to live that.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't live that.
Yeah.
Because I had a dream of living what you went through. And I don't know, like, I ain't even gonna tell y'all how that, you know what I'm saying, how that dream ended, but it was not good for me.
Right. Yeah. But that's all that was. You know what I'm saying? Just being more mindful. I'm not a dream expert or whatever, but I do know a thing or two.
Yeah.
So.
But that was a left. Back to the big bill.
Yeah. That was like 2-3 lefts.
Yeah, that was. But back to the big bill.
Yeah.
When it's all said and done about the big bill, the big beautiful bill is one of those things where it's gonna give y'all a little bit, like, for everybody who live like me that's poor, it's gonna give y'all a little bit, but at the end of the day, it is strictly for all of those buyouts and all of those things that were happening after when COVID hit. Is keeping those things in play for a lot of big businesses and a lot of high earners. So if you're a high earner, you're gonna see more of the benefits than anybody else. So I always want to tell people that. What I want to tell my people that live like me, in these next 10 years, and these next 10 or 9 years, because I think things are they'll revise it in 2034. So the next 9 years, I want y'all to start investing in everything that they're doing. Also, they have the MAGA savings account. Utilize the MAGA savings account that's in this big bill. And I know when I tell people that, they're gonna be like, "Oh man, I'm not doing that. I don't agree with this man." And why. If you had a kid that was born when he was elected, the government is going to give you $1,000 every year into that. You can put, it's basically a Roth IRA, but they're not saying that. They're calling it the MAGA savings account.
Yeah, because everything has to be coined or
Yeah.
by him. Does this count for the first term babies?
So that's what I've been trying to figure out. I've been trying to make sure, because if it does, then my son is included in this. If it doesn't, it's still a Roth. So still
Your
play
son
that,
wouldn't
because
be counted. The first term babies. Your son ain't that old.
my son is 2.
He was born during Biden.
Yeah, he wasn't born when if the first term is included, then my son will be included. If the first term is not included, then my son won't be a part of it.
So you're thinking from the first term on.
No,
I'm thinking he's going to be scandalous and not count the Biden years.
So I'm thinking, me too. I'm thinking it's going to be just when he's elected now.
See, I was thinking if we count in the first term, we're talking about from 2017 to 2020, and then he'll stop it for them Biden years and then pick back up 2024, because he's ornery like that.
And if that does happen, my son is still excluded.
Right.
But at know what I'm saying, at the same time, I'll say this, because I did have a child, or not, because she would be excluded too. The whole thing is with that savings account, I would say to everybody, especially if you're not already investing, you don't have a brokerage account, any of these things, I would say go ahead and get that savings account, because it is going to cure interest.
Mm-hmm.
So you're still going to get something. Like, I always pay attention to when the government gives you free money.
Yeah. And if it's a Roth, that's after taxes too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
Because that's basically what it is. It's basically a Roth a Roth IRA, but what it is he just puts his name on it. So it's
right.
The MAGA savings account.
Right. Right.
But it's the same thing. So if you were lucky to have a baby this year, you're going to be getting, again, I still got to read it. Like I said, man, it's going to take me at least a month to read that, because I'm not one of those people that's just going to listen to what people say. If this is what it is, you're going to get $1,000 on top of whatever you contribute every year, on top of I know what I'm saying, it's whatever interest occurs in that. So it could be one of those things where even if you don't have a kid, you still are going to accumulate some type of interest, putting that money in there. So I would advise everybody to do it, especially if you're an individual. I'm not in this bracket, but for all of my people that are listening to me, if you're in a bracket of you don't even have $1,000 in your savings account, this will be beneficial to you, because this is a savings account that's going to accrue interest.
Right. So with the savings account, does, for like the babies from that are going to get the $1,000 every year, $1,000 every year up till when? They're 18. Okay.
18.
Oh, okay. So it's $1,000. So that'd be $18,000 just off the top. Then whatever the entrance,
and then whatever you've been putting in there to accumulate interest.
Now, is it insured? Do you know?
I'm pretty sure, because it's federal, it has to be FDIC.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So that is free money.
Exactly.
You know
what I'm saying? Again, I'm telling y'all, when I'm telling you this, I'm not somebody who is a financial guru or super government. I'm just a nigga that pays attention to the pockets that I have. I would say it would be beneficial for you to do that.
Now, is this money that you can touch, or they got to wait till they're 18?
It's a Roth, so I'm pretty sure it's going to be penalties if you touch it.
Okay.
So it's got to be one of those things where this is not your end all be all. Get you an emergency fund and all that, but then funnel money into this, because they're going to pay you for it.
Right. And the more money you put in it, the more interest you can accumulate. That's not a bad idea at all. Now, is this gonna, or I wonder when it's time for these kids to collect Social Security, because you know how they always been threatening us with this Social Security or whatever. Are they going to take into effect that they had this account and penalize them with the amount of money they're going to get from Social Security?
So that's one of those things where I have to continue to keep reading that
Yeah.
bill to see, because I don't know per se. I'm just one of those people that actually is trying to read the bill.
Yeah,
Most
right.
people are listening to people. I'm actually just trying to read the bill, so I can only tell you the things that I know trying to read the bill.
Right.
Another thing that I will say that it will affect, and this is going to be for everybody. If you are able-bodied and you don't have any disabilities, and you are under the age of 64, if you're not at least working 80 hours a month, so all Social Security, all of that shit that you're used to getting, that's 86, my nigga. They're gonna cut that shit out. So
Yeah.
it's gonna put you back in the workforce. So you're gonna see a lot of older people in these next 10 years that are still working when they feel like they don't have to.
Right. I did see that. And so it's gonna make it harder for people trying to get a job, because the job market is gonna be big, like the people trying to get a job. And then, even though you're not supposed to discriminate because of age, people do. And it's hard to prove, as far as like trying to sue for that. So that ain't necessarily a good thing.
No. Again, I'll tell you the pros and the cons.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I just told you the pro and that MAGA savings account. I got to tell you the con with your grandfather going, you know what I'm saying? If that nigga can see and he can walk, they going to make him work.
Yeah.
If he ain't got a good, if he's not on a good retirement plan, if he's able-bodied, he's not getting no more government assistance.
Yeah.
They gonna make him work. And that's, just to be quite honest, this is something that I see every day. I've seen it before this whole thing passed, which used to upset me. I'm like, dang, we got to understand between the ages, because people say once you get 40, man, you fucked up if you ain't got no money. I'll tell you this. How life works between the ages of 18 to 50 years old, you have enough mindset and just enough able-bodiedness to pay your due diligence and understand what's going on, as far as if you want to work in a job force, or if you want to be a entrepreneur and a business owner. There's certain things that you have to put your money in. Stop trying to buy shit to impress niggas. Either put that shit in money, as far as like living assets like land and things of that nature, or put that shit in the stock and keep doing that shit. Because one thing that, and I'll just say this, and I'll just end it at that. I had to train a woman a couple of months ago that was 74 years old to work in my job. My job is very strenuous and very hard.
Yeah.
I would have never imagined having to do that, but I had to do that because she didn't make the proper plans.
Yeah.
This is all this bill is telling us, is you got to make the proper plans or you screwed.
Yeah. 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 That sucks. I have people, my coworkers are that age. Well, I have a coworker that's that age, I should say. But yeah. And it's just like, I mean, he's good at his job, but it's just like, at the end of the day, what is it? Yeah, what is it exactly that you're still working for? When
you close to, and I'm not downgrading anybody when I say this, because I know a lot of able-bodied individuals. My grandmother is 104 years old, so I ain't never gonna say you are not capable of doing things. My grandmother still lives on her own and takes care of herself. And until a couple of years ago, she was she was moving about the country by her motherfucking self.
Right.
So I'm not saying you can't do it. What I'm saying is, why do you have to?
Yeah.
Why do you have at one point when you look in your life, and my grandmother is reached the pinnacle. But for my individuals who are in their 60s and 70s, why would you ever wake up to do something that somebody else told you to do?
Yeah.
Like, because that's what I look at. I'm telling y'all right now, dude, I don't. By the time I turn fucking 60 years old, I'm not about to. Ain't nobody about to tell me when I got to get up and when I don't got to give. I don't give a fuck what y'all talking about. I'm not about to do that shit.
Yeah, I always said
those rest of the years I got. I don't care how. I don't care if it's another 100. That 100 is me doing what the fuck I want to do.
Right. I always said I wanted to be one of those old people that drive a brand new Cadillac. That's my goal. Like, I don't want to have nothing but utility bills and a car lease, because I ain't gonna buy the car. I'm gonna lease it because I don't feel like handling the maintenance when I get that old.
I ain't mad at that.
Right. So, but yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to be an old person driving a brand new Cadillac.
The only thing I will attest to that is once you get that old, you can even be better with the utilities. I got an old dude. They call this nigga the General. Know this nigga. Cool dude. Every year he puts $12,000 into because he's got a little bread. So every year he puts $12,000 to the water company, $12,000 to the electric company, $12,000 to the North and to the gas company. And he don't think about it not no more.
I know that's right.
You know what I'm saying? Like man, these niggas ain't about to house with me for not a goddamn bill. Like, he get bills, he has to, but he has a credit. I looked at his credit on his gas bill because he told me he put this amount of money. He said he started off with just putting $2,000 every year, then it went to $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. He showed me his fucking light bill. This motherfucker, this man is 72. This nigga got more money on his lights than he's ever gonna see.
Right. He said, whatever happens, my lights will be on.
But that's but he said he did that for his grandkids. Yeah. His light bill, he has a $36,000 credit.
I know that's right. He said them lights will forever be on.
Yeah, because when I'm out of here, my grandkids gonna be able to sit in this motherfucker with the lights on. Right. And I was like, damn, I didn't even think about no shit like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, just like little stuff like that. Like, I ain't gonna be able to pay the taxes while I'm gone, but you gonna have lights on this motherfucker.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So he did some shit. He taught me some shit that I didn't even think about. He was like, the credit for that credit is always gonna be there, and all you need is somebody to to vouch for that credit.
Yeah.
So he's like, no, I'm already paid for it. So my grandkids, it's always gonna have lights on.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about it, at the most, unless you just on some crazy shit, at the most you're gonna spend like maybe $6,000-$7,000 a year.
Yeah, that's if you got a really big house and you keeping all the lights on.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That's at best.
Mm-hmm.
This nigga got a $36,000 credit.
Yeah, and he constantly adding to their mug.
And he constantly adding. I'm like, oh shit, General. Like, no wonder they call you the General.
Right. Yeah.
Like, nah, he makes shit pop. I'm like, oh man, I expired. I couldn't wait to. I promise y'all, I would love to be on that type of time.
Right. Because when you think about like your offspring inheriting, you just think about the building. You don't think about the upkeep. He's thinking about the upkeep. So that's what's up.
I said, God damn, I looked at that shit. Yeah. That shit was like $36,534. I was like, God damn.
Yeah.
Like, nigga, give me that money.
Like, right. You know what I could have did with that?
You know what I could have, but that's his credit on his lights.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't see everything else. Now I'm pretty sure everything else is pretty much on the same accord, but he was like, nah, my grandkids gonna have lights. My grandkids gonna have lights.
Right. Right. Exactly.
And I'm pretty sure you're gonna pass that same law on to them. Like, no, just pay a little bit. It's already paid for, but just always keep giving them something so it can keep stacking.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And probably ain't got to be to that magnitude, but just, you know.
They could literally just give them motherfuckers $50 a goddamn month and it'll be okay.
Right. Right. Exactly.
That shit is already there. So they just stacking on stacking on stacking.
Yeah. Yeah. And it'd be okay. Like if you have a rough month, you ain't got to worry about the lights, you know? That's what's up. That's what's up.
Nigga's a beast.
Right, right. So yeah. And you know, there's another left.
There's another left. But I mean, goes right back to the big beautiful bill. Listen, the big beautiful bill, at the end of the day, from what I've been looking at so far. I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I said it's basically get your shit together.
Exactly. Get your shit together. Stop thinking you're gonna rely on the government, because I've told y'all that a bunch of times, but I'll say it again. The government don't give a fuck about you.
Yeah. That is basically what's going on. You know, basically get your shit together. Don't rely on the government for your first option. It should be basically your last resort. Or if you desperately need it, like people with physical and mental disabilities, those are the ones that really need it. But if you are working the system, quote unquote,
they on your ass. They on your ass.
Yeah, they getting you the fuck up out of there.
Also, it's going in the next 10 years. It's going to be very and when I say this, I mean this with the utmost respect for everybody's listening to me right now. In these next 10 years, it would be more beneficial for you to get married and make sure that you are actually filing married joint. They're giving a lot of tax breaks for that. When I looked on that bill and I seen a lot of things, a lot of it had you get more bang from your buck for your buck if you are married status. Now, I'm not telling everybody to get married.
I'm gonna say don't go out there and marry any old body.
Yeah, I'm not telling you to do that. I'm saying if you have somebody that you know financially y'all on the same page, it'll be beneficial for y'all to go ahead and get married. If you have somebody who you know financially is not on your same page, it'll be detrimental for you to get married in these years. But they're trying to push marriage in America.
Yeah.
So, and again, you know me, I'm one of those people that believe marriage is a business, and you got to teach people the business first before you get married.
Yeah, you definitely have to look at things without getting your feelings involved. Even though your feelings get involved when you want to marry somebody, but setting that shit up, you got to take your feelings out of it. You know what I'm saying? And this is coming from two people who have never been married.
Never been married. One is trying to figure it out, and then you know, and then the other one who just like, yeah, I ain't been married.
I ain't been married. Shit.
I'm trying to figure it out. I proposed once, and then I've been in 2 long-term relationships. The only thing I can say.
Yeah. I've been just here.
It just happens, you know. It's like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with it. Again, when I said it has to be that person has to be your business partner. You know what I'm saying? And when because love is gonna be there, like Lindsay said, but at the end of the day, marriage is a partnership. So you gotta have some type of business plan with that. Or let's not call it a business plan. Let's take it off the table. Let's call it a family plan. You need to have a family plan, a family structure, a family foundation for this business of marriage to actually be a great business of marriage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. So that is
that's the big bill, y'all.
Yeah, that is the big beautiful bill.
Right. Again, it's one of those things where I can only tell you what I know. I can only tell you what I read. I'm never gonna go on a biased rant on that, and I'm never gonna go on a situation where I'm just gonna tell you what I think is going to affect the poor. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm gonna give you a scenario of it. The more and more I read on it, I'm going to try to give you a scenario of if it's just beneficial for the United States or if it's detrimental to the United States. And I think that's what we need. Like, too many people trying to, you know what I'm saying, take sides. At one point, you don't have to take sides. You have to realize what's beneficial and what's not.
Yeah. And it sounds like the bill is filled with a bunch of pros and cons. You know, and you just have to really go through it and base your opinion on if the cons are that big of a con. You know, because it's always give and take when it comes to a bill. Like, you're not gonna get everything you want. You know, but is the con of the bill that bad of a deal to where you like, I don't want this bill at all, you know?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that is the big beautiful bill. You know, pending Lily reading the rest of it, so we will revisit.
I was about to say that. I'm talking about, dude. When I say I'm trying to read this word salad, this mumbo jumbo, and I am starting to get frustrated. Like, it's 900 pages, y'all. Like, I thought I was gonna call myself just like, all right, this is gonna take me a week. No, it ain't.
No,
it ain't, because it's shit in there that it's words I found out. I didn't even know what words was. Like, and then this how crazy this bill is. I'm like, damn, I didn't know words.
Yeah, and then they word it so weirdly in places, just like when they try to pass something and you have to vote on it, how they word it with double negatives and shit like that. Like, they be wording it like that too to confuse people. So and then a lot of people in politics, like our elected officials, they don't be reading all that shit. They have like they staff read the shit and give them the cliff notes. You know? So and then they be voting on shit that they don't know about, and then they get not railroaded, but they get criticized for not reading the shit. But it's like, this shit 900 pages. Who gonna read this shit? You know?
Yeah.
But then in the same breath, you shouldn't be voting on shit that you ain't gonna read. You know? So it's a lot.
That's why they packed it like that.
Yeah, it's like, it's kind of low key your job to read it, but what else? That's another conversation for another day.
That is.
But
it is. I will say this, and we'll end it with this.
Mm-hmm.
For my people who are tip workers, and for my people who are getting overtime, I said it in the beginning, and I'll end it with this. Really pay attention to what you're doing, because at the end of the day, you not being taxed for certain things, it's going to make that business not start putting sanctions on certain stuff, because you can't tax it. That means they can't get certain tax advantages. So especially for my people who are in the medical field, as far as direct care support, CNAs, all of my hourly workers, construction, all of these, really pay attention to the overtime that you're getting, and pay attention to if they are starting to cut it down. And the reason why they're going to start cutting it down is because if they can't pay, say if you're getting $20 an hour, but you're getting time and a half, so now all of a sudden you're getting $35 an hour. If that business can't attest to why you're working those hours, then they're going to penalize you, because the government is going to penalize them, or the state is going to penalize them. So pay attention to that. Because it's a bigger picture that people don't even think about. And that's just, you know what I'm saying? It's just a part of just knowing what business is. Businesses have to pay a certain amount of taxes. And if they can't tax you actually working, then who you think is going to flip the bill for that shit?
Yeah.
Pay attention to that. Don't get fired because you want to work 20 hours every pay period.
Yeah.
Or 20 hours of overtime every pay period. Don't lose your job over that. Because a lot of people are looking at it, especially for that, they're looking at out like, I'm gonna push in double time, or I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. And that's gonna only last a certain amount of time before they start being on your head, my guy.
Yeah. So we shall definitely see. But yeah, that's a big, beautiful bill. So now we are moving on to our Diddy update.
Close the damn case. Diddy update. He won and he lost in the same day. Boom. Yeah, that's crazy, man. But just think about it. All the oil around him, he stays surrounded. He gonna slide through. Yeah, let him slide through. Johnson & Johnson, make him ride, fool. He gonna be cool. He gonna be cool. Damn, it's Diddy, dude. Damn, it's Diddy, dude.
So
not guilty. He said, have the state and the feds come get me. Not guilty, and I'm filthy. He said that in a bar.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
And that's happening right now.
Yeah. So we have Just the Facts watching.
Hey, Just the Facts.
Hey, and he says, Diddy's Mann Act conviction sets a bold precedent. Flying women out for sex, even consensually, can be deemed illegal. America hasn't fully processed that yet. Maybe they will when the dust settles. Yeah. So, so in case you were living under a rock, this past week we did get a final verdict for the Diddy trial, which he had three charges, 5 counts altogether. The first count was the RICO, the racketeering. He was found not guilty of that. Then he had the sex trafficking for Cassie. He was found not guilty. He transportation to engage in prostitution, which is the Mann Act. For Cassie, he was found guilty. The sex trafficking for Jane Doe, he was found not guilty. And then the transportation to engage in prostitution for Jane Doe, he was found guilty. So the 3 charges that could have led him to life in prison, he was found not guilty of. The 2 charges that can get him up to 10 years each, he was found guilty of. Now, he is a first-time offender, or not offender, but a first-time conviction. He's a first-time felon. This is the first time he's ever been convicted of anything. So because of that, and with this basically being a prostitution charge, he should not get the max. If they go off of the guidelines, he should get probably about 36 months for each count that he was found guilty of. Now, in federal court, the judge can go off of the chart, or they can do whatever the hell they want. So he can end up with time served and probation. So but then we also run the risk of him being convicted of the Mann Act, but sentenced for domestic violence, just like how they did OJ. OJ when he finally was convicted of something, it was for robbery of his own stuff. And he was convicted of robbery, but sentenced for murder because he got 33 years.
Yeah,
but of course, he did not.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was insane.
And I'm not an OJ fan.
See, this is my thing. Because I've been watching a whole lot of coverage across the board. And there's a lot of people in their feelings. And it was reminiscent of the OJ trial.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Whenever, and I'm just going to be 100, whenever a Black person is acquitted of something that white people feel like they should get a whole lot of time for, they are in their feelings. They feel like they should get convicted of everything. They are pissed off. The jury is stupid. The jury don't know what they're doing. Yeah. All of this, you know what I'm saying? And when it's any other time, the jury gets it right. We should respect the jury, should respect the courts, all this. No, if we're going to respect the courts, we're going to respect the courts. And this is why I don't discuss the OJ trial with white people, because y'all want us to respect the courts any other time except for with the OJ trial. And at the end of the day, that man was acquitted of murder, and we should respect the courts, and we should not call him a murderer or anything like that, because he was not guilty. Let's just be real. This man, even though we saw the video, yes, we saw the video. We saw him on video. He admitted to it, all that. But he was not charged with domestic violence. He was not convicted of domestic violence. He's not serving time for domestic violence. This case was not about domestic violence. He's a woman beater. Absolutely. Absolutely. We saw it. But like I just said, this case was not about domestic violence. What he's not is a racketeer. What he's not is a sex trafficker. What should not happen on October 3rd, which is the sentencing date, he should not be sentenced like he was convicted of domestic violence. He should not be sentenced for sex trafficking. He should not be sentenced for racketeering. What he should be sentenced for is the transportation to engage in prostitution. And he should be treated as a first-time offender. Period. That's what we need to look at, and that's how it should occur, October 3rd. Now, a lot of when we were waiting between the verdict and if he was going to be released on bail or not, there was a few hours. So a lot of people got online, or not online, but just on TV, online, all the above. A lot of legal commentators gave their opinions, and they said at the end of the day, because of what he was charged with, he should get bail, especially because he's a first-time offender. The judge ended up not giving him bail, basically using the defense's words against him, saying that, hey, y'all said he was violent, so I'm not going to let a violent person out. Which it was like, yeah, sure. All right, whatever. You know what I mean? Because it's like you had to concede to that part. You know what I'm saying? Like, because at the end of the day, the video was there. He admitted to the video. It is what it is. And they said it in the opening and closing statements. They showed that video a million times throughout the trial. And it was just like, we had to concede to that point. Like, the man is violent. Like, we can't just not see what we see. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, that's not what this case is about. So, yeah, they didn't let him out on bail. He has to stay in there till the October 3rd date. And October 3rd date is the sentencing date. Now, what's going to happen within this time is that, excuse me, they're going to interview Diddy. They're going to interview like close friends and family, just to pretty much paint a picture of Diddy from the cradle to present. It just, come up with this whole story of his life. They're going to use that and to try to get a big picture of him, to have a clear understanding of what type of time that they're going to suggest. They already, I think, like asking for like 5 years, but that's going to go into this whole like presentation on how much time the prosecution is going to request and the defense is going to request. And then you also have the victim impact statements that are going to come into play as well. So the judge is going to take all of that and come up with his sentencing. Excuse me. So a lot of people have been, pulling out this chart that the feds go by. And according to the chart, like I said, he should get probably like about 36 months with time served. And then with the 2 charges, they're saying that they should run concurrently. We shall see. We shall see what the judge does. The judge, they said, has been pretty fair this whole trial. So they don't see him deviating from the script too much. But they were surprised that he didn't let him out on bail. Another thing is,
hold on, before you get going, I'm looking on TikTok. Okay, so AK Johnson said use Chat GPT, and I think that's for the 900 pages. Even if you use that, you still, I would suggest that you actually still read it. Just if you really want to know what that bill consists of.
Yeah, Chat GPT is a good tool to use if you just pretty much want the cliff notes.
Yeah,
but if you want to get in there and get the minutia of it all, then yeah, you're gonna have to read that more.
And then Michelle said, yes, flipping crazy. And I'm like, okay, so yeah, that whole thing in a nutshell, all of that big beautiful bill, that's crazy. It's a lot into that.
Yeah. So yeah, as far as Diddy is concerned, when it was read and whatnot, they were happy with the verdict. He fell to his knees and was praying in the chair and whatnot. A couple of the lawyers was crying. Tears of joy on the defense side, of course. And with the deliberation, it only was a couple of days. When they first went in there, probably like a couple of hours into them being in there, they sent a note to the judge saying that juror 25 basically is like, fuck what y'all talking about, I'm this. And so, of course, it was speculation. And then, they read off a brief summary of juror 25. And so my assumption after reading the brief summary of that person, I was like, oh, he's trying to convict him of everything, Yeah. And so then the next thing they told us at the end of Monday that they had a verdict for 4 of the 5 charges. The only one that they couldn't agree on unanimously was number 1, which was the racketeering. Everything else they had a conviction for. And the judge was like, no, y'all need to go back in there and deliberate some more. So they ended Monday and they came back Tuesday. Within an hour of them coming back Tuesday, they had a verdict for everything. So yeah, Just the Fact says, in the next 5 years, AI will replace jurors. America will choose to give leverage to hackers as compared to human emotion. Perhaps this trade-off will pay off. I don't know.
Just the facts.
I don't know if I would want an AI to replace a juror if I have the case.
So I get your point. Because you take the emotional aspect out of it and you go with just the facts and the law of what it is. That's going to be good and bad. It's going to be good because it's actually going to put, and I'm one of those people that stand on this podcast to say, whatever color you are, a monster is a monster. If we catch this monster, we catch this monster. At the same time, we got to look at sometimes people will say somebody's a monster when they're really not.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's a very risky situation right there because just the facts, Lindsay and me, we know sometimes you can't listen to the mob of people.
Yeah.
Like that's where I'm like, I get it, but like sometimes it's like, you don't want to do that because if it gets to a point where it's just only AI driven is only going to be on whatever is streaming to the AI. So if everything negative is streaming to the AI, then boom, that nigga's in trouble.
Yeah. And just the fact saying AI is being used already. Yeah, as far as jurors is concerned, no, I would rather have people because people are going to look at it from a human standpoint. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if I want the emotion taken out of it because I feel like in this case they really looked at it from a human standpoint. But another thing is with this case, literally every legal correspondent I've seen said this was a loss for the prosecution. They never would have tried this case if it was just about the prostitution charge. So it was a big waste of money. It was a big waste of time, and they overshot it. They should be embarrassed for this case because, like we said on the show, the RICO was not strong. It was not strong.
I've been saying
they proved it, but it was just not strong. And then they have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt, and it just was not done. Now I will say that on this show, when we gave our predictions, I was right. I will say that. I was right.
I can't hold you for that.
Yeah.
You are 100% right.
Was right, and if I would have went with what I wanted to do with my life when I was in 5th grade, I would be a lawyer. I wanted to be a divorce lawyer, but I wanted to be a lawyer.
Yeah, you know what?
And I probably should have.
This is a complete left. I'll say this. When you're in the 5th grade, or you just in that age of 10 to maybe 14, you have this epitome of what you're going to be, and it's strictly because of childhood trauma. It has everything to do with childhood trauma. My stepfather was a schizophrenic, so in my mind, I said I'm gonna be a psychologist. Swear to God, that. Don't know what I'm saying. That was hand to the Bible. My son, I was like, I'm gonna be a psychologist because my pops is schizophrenic, so I gotta get to the meeting. Now I ain't saying that you shouldn't achieve your dreams. I'm just saying life didn't make me be this. But I do know how to analyze people. I think that's why I went into the field that I go into. I just didn't happen to become a psychologist.
Right.
But at the same time, you did the same thing, and you've been able to analyze this way better than anybody else on this panel. Not everybody, but on this panel, you analyze that shit to a T because you said it.
I said it, yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like, and it's so funny because like I was sending out the texts, and then in the group chat with my mom and my sister, I sent out like I said it, and then I sent another text was like, I missed my calling. Because I really should have did that. And it's so funny because I've been going back and forth ever since 5th grade. I've been going back and forth about going to law school, not going to law school, not even recently. You know what I'm saying? Because like when it comes to cases like this, I really be engaged and whatnot. Like I was 10 years old when the OJ murders happened. And I was sitting up here watching that shit every day. You know what I mean? Like I was fully engulfed. I've been engulfed in that shit ever since back then. You know what I mean? So yeah, like I don't know. I've been thinking about like how could I fit that in with life. But yeah, that's my only thing. I have to fit it in with life because the money ain't gonna stop coming in. I need that money to come in.
You know what I'm saying?
But
that childhood trauma.
Yeah.
Like boy, that OJ fucked you up.
Man.
You said, man, I'm gonna be a fucking lawyer. Fuck this shit.
Right, but
figure this out.
Right, but that's the killer part about it because I wanted to be a lawyer before the OJ happened because like, we graduated 5th grade and then after graduating 5th grade, the murders happened. So I wanted to be a divorce lawyer. And at 5th grade graduation, you say what you want to be when you grow up. I said I wanted to be a divorce lawyer, and everybody, like, it was like a big uproar because everybody was cracking up that I literally said divorce lawyer. So, and they like, what the hell? This 10-year-old talking about divorce?
Yeah.
So yeah. So it was funny, but sure, that's what I wanted. But now I'm really like I said, I've been going back and forth about it ever since then. And then I went to film and I was real passionate about film and that's where my degree went. But then I'm like, I'm still got the lawyer stuff in the back of my head. So I need to figure this out before I get too old.
And that's what, but that's what got you to that verdict. I ain't even gonna lie.
Yeah. Because I sit and like, unfortunately, we can't have cameras in federal courts, but I've been sitting watching everybody and I try to get a clear understanding, like I listen to people that were in the courtroom every day. And then I listen to legal correspondence about it. Like I listen to all these people. I try to get like a clear view, a clear picture of what was going on, because you can listen to one person, you can get their biased opinion, and then you can listen to somebody else and they coming from a legal standpoint, and then you think about the jurors and their backgrounds and how all of that plays into this. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's pretty interesting when you take a deep dive into the shit. Just the fact says, I believe the judge may override the jury's findings and issue a sentence for Diddy at his own discretion. I wonder if Diddy is gonna pay Jane's rent for July. LL. I was wondering that too, because I would cut her ass off.
Oh no, he paying that rent.
Oh, she got to get cut the fuck off because
I just got convicted. She ain't gonna get cut off. She ain't gonna get cut off this fast.
Maybe he might give her the 3 months he was talking about. Like, you got 3 months to figure it out. But I'll be like, bitch, fuck you. I'm not paying shit. Yeah, I just got convicted off of your ass. No. Mm-mm.
Yeah, ain't mad.
And then this is the thing. So let's talk about what he got convicted of. It is transportation to engage in prostitution. This is called the Mann Act. The Mann Act, it's named after the guy that pretty much made it up. I forgot his name, but his last name is Mann. And this came about in like the 1920s or 30s. Now, have you ever heard of a person named Jack Johnson?
Yep.
Okay,
I
so
know exactly who Jack Johnson is.
okay, so I'm glad you do because some people don't. But if you do not, Jack Johnson was a black man who was the heavyweight champion of the world at one point in the 1920s and 30s. He was a big deal. Now, again, I'm talking about the 1920s and 30s. 1920s and 30s was a very, very, very racist part in our past. Just the fact says it is named after Congressman James Robert Mann of Illinois. Yeah. So this guy, Jack Johnson, not only was he the heavyweight champion of the world, but he was the heavyweight champion of the world because he was beating white folks up left and right.
He was beating the sleeves off them. Like
he would
come in there in church shoes and beat the sleeves off.
Right. And if you are a boxing fan, you probably know who he is. But if you don't, there are videos of him knocking the bricks off these motherfuckers. So like he was not
old school too. None of that shit you see. None of that old. But I'm talking about really old school.
Right.
Bow, bow.
like for real. So Jack Johnson was a flashy person as well, and he had a thing for white women, and the white women had a thing for him, and that's what he dated. And people was pissed off that he was dating him, so they came up with the Mann Act. And because he was a flashy person and he had money or whatever, he was, taking his girlfriends with him, his white girlfriends with him to places. And they ended up making it a federal charge for him to cross state lines with these white women, even though these white women are willing to go. Now, he ended up serving time for this, and then he got out and, married the woman he got convicted for. So, which he was married a couple times or whatever. But yeah, they was really pissed off behind this shit or whatnot.
And this is a total left. He even, out of that situation, he developed a wrench called the monkey wrench that people don't even think he the one to trademark that bitch.
Yeah.
Like that's how he was able to sustain himself with his white wife after prison.
Right.
Like he created the monkey.
It
was a wrench. It was a wrench. It was just a regular wrench. They called it a monkey wrench.
Right.
And now everybody uses a fucking monkey wrench.
Right.
Jack Johnson.
Crazy, right?
Amazing guy.
Right.
Amazing guy.
Right. So yeah. So if anybody ever wants to, know more about Jack Johnson, there is a movie called The Great White Hope that James Earl Jones plays Jack Johnson in the movie, and it's actually on YouTube. It's a pretty good movie. So it won awards and got nominated for Oscars and all kinds of shit. So yeah. But that's where this law came into play. Another famous person that got charged with this law was Chuck Berry. I think the only white person that got charged with it that was famous was what was his name? Dang, I can't think of his name right now. Chapman. Charlie Chapman. Was it Charlie Chapman?
It could have been Charlie Chapman. But
yeah.
You know who should have did that but didn't?
What?
Elvis Presley.
Yeah.
And fucking Jerry Lee Lewis.
Yeah. But this is the thing. They usually use this charge against black men. And I want to say it was Charlie Chapman. Don't quote me on that, but they said it was for political reasons. But yeah. Normally they use that when they really don't have nothing else. And like we've been saying throughout this trial, that was pretty much a given that he was going to get charged at. So yeah. Just the fact, or not charged that, but convicted of that. Just the fact says the late great Jack Johnson is turning in his grave right now, 100 years later, and they are getting people with the same outdated laws. We need to wake up and seek reform. Yeah. And then Obama had a chance to pardon but declined. Trump, however, did grant a pardon. Based on that president, I believe Trump would likely pardon Diddy as well. And then he's saying Hugh Hefner should have been charged with that shit. I don't know if Hugh Hefner could have been charged with the transportation to engage in prostitution, because I don't know if he transported.
So it's a very mucky road when we go into and I'll just keep it 100 with y'all. When we go into the debauchery of niggas and filth, it's a mucky road that we go into when we get into that. So, you know, you can say that you can say that about Hugh Hefner, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know if he had any lawsuits or anything like that. So let me not say that. But what I will say is none of it was public to our knowledge. When it becomes public, then that's when the people have a say so into certain things.
Yeah, see, the Hugh Hefner shit is wild because, like, they are saying that he was pretty much out here, you know, making it do what it do. And the shit that they want to say now, it's some wild shit. But
and I'm not mad. I'm not mad at it. I just like just think about it. It's like, bro, this nigga and I've said this before on the podcast. So y'all won't think I'm putting a bias up, but I've said this. Y'all allowed this man to go into interviews and silk pajamas and a robe, dick swinging, with 3 bitches behind him all the fucking time.
That was his brand.
That was what he was doing.
Yeah, like he always had 2 or 3 girlfriends. He always had several people living in the mansion with him. Like, that was his brand. Now, he was now in the beginning, he was definitely criticized for it and all that type of stuff. But then we thought it was cute. We thought it was fun. We thought it was what was it, you know? So, and now once people got away from him, now you want to start speaking negatively about it. But you was with the shit before. So is like I don't know. Like,
so I'll say this, and then I'll go back to the Diddy trial.
Yeah.
But I'll say this. See, the problem that I think that is happening in America is 2 things. One, we're way too motherfucking lenient on everybody doing what the fuck they want to do. But this is, quote unquote, the land of the free. So we're way too lenient on people doing what they want to do. For 2, because we become way too lenient, the people of power are doing whatever, and I mean whatever, because they think that the law is going to be on their side. Now, saying that, I'll go right into what I feel about the Diddy case. One thing we really have to pay attention to is that Diddy got money to pay for good lawyers. I've seen a lot of people, and I've said this before on this podcast, on my TikTok, whoever listens to me. Diddy got money, so he was able to pay for lawyers that'll make sure that his shit was ironclad and he was okay, and he, you know what I'm saying, and certain things he wasn't gonna get charged for. At the same time, I say this: I've seen a lot of people go to jail for less. I've seen a lot of people get RICO charges for less. My brother went to jail on a RICO charge because a dopehead bitch said she seen him in a spot. Not that he was serving, Not that, you know what I'm saying, that he did anything. He was just there.
He was there.
And he got hit with the RICO.
Yeah. They've hit people with a RICO for having conversations.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's what because I keep want to tell, because everybody like, I don't know, like, you know what I'm saying, that this is how you fuck the feds over. Nah, y'all ain't got enough money to fuck the feds over like Puffy.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Right.
Y'all ain't gonna do that.
Right. There's a lot of people, you know, that take pleas because they get hit with RICOs, and it costs a lot of money to fight a RICO. It costs a lot of money to fight a RICO. So
Puffy is his net worth is $1 billion. What he actually has is maybe $400 million.
Yeah.
He got enough money to do this.
Yeah.
Your little stupid ass with 200 bands, you ain't got enough money to do the same shit that Puffy did. You gonna cop a plea, my nigga. This is what I'm saying. Like, let's just make it make sense for people to understand certain things.
Yeah.
If it was you, you would have got caught under that RICO. If you had a motherfucker that called and said, no, he over here, he crazy. Don't even know what I'm saying. Don't come over here. Don't trip out. And you like, bitch, this is my house. I can't go to my house. Like, nah, don't go to your house. He tripping. And then you like, all right, fuck it. And you come home and your car is on fire. Mm-hmm. The nigga that did that, if he wanted to press charge, he's gonna get that RICO. Mm-hmm. He got enough money to fight. Puffy had enough money to fight that and dispute that.
Yeah.
Right. So I just, for my common man,
yeah,
I want y'all to understand that the reason why Puffy is not going to jail like y'all thought he was going to jail is because he had enough money and lawyers to fight it. Yeah. You don't have enough money and lawyers to fight that shit. That's why the feds have a 98% success rate.
Right. Right. And, you know, they kept on throwing that shit up as well about their success rate. But I was always thinking to myself, that success rate got to include the plea or the, the plea deals. So it had to include the plea deals. I'm like, they're not taking all of these to trial. Yes. And you know what I'm saying? Because like that intimidation, and then you keep on throwing in their success rate. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah.
Because that's what they're going to do. They're going to tell you this. I've been fucking with the feds for a long time. That it's a family business at this point. Like, not even being on no extra, not trying to, because I'm not anything in my family, nigga. I am the total, I'm the total opposite of everything in my family. But nigga, I will tell you this. This is how they look at it. We're going to give you 5 years, or you take it to trial. And if you get found guilty, you're going to jail for life. I don't know how people really don't understand how the feds work, but life is automatic. They say life, but that's 25 years.
Yeah.
So when they say life, they don't. Most people don't say, "Oh, that's 25 years. I'm good." Mm-hmm. And I'll fight it. Now, what I will say on the flip of that is when niggas who are broke say, all right, fuck it. I'm going to fight it anyway. I think this public defender got my back. And that public defender can have your back completely. And they can be completely right. I'm going to tell you how fucked up the feds is. The feds would be like, all right, we found a loophole in this and we got you. And not only are we going to get you for this, we told you it was life. Now we're going to give you 3 consecutive life terms. Mm-hmm. Because that's what the feds, that judge just says, fuck it. Yeah. I'm going to put whatever on you. I don't think people really understand, because y'all just used to niggas taking plea deals. I know niggas that took plea deals, and I know niggas that fought the feds.
Yeah.
And me saying both of those things, I ain't never met a nigga with $400 million.
That part. So just the fact says The FBI has released its files on former Playboy founder and editor-in-chief Hugh Hefner, who died in 2017. The file revealed that the FBI interviewed Hefner on a few occasions in the late 1950s and early 60s over what the FBI called obscene material. Yeah, they was trying to get him. I remember seeing like interviews and stuff like that where they was really trying to come down on him about Playboy and whatnot, because Playboy was kind of like the first of his kind back then. So yeah. Society Breakdown is watching, and he says they used to hit kids with mob action for walking in groups of 3 or more in the 1990s.
They sure did. It
cost a lot of money to persecute a RICO too. They wasted taxpayer money. It was all a cover up to get the tapes. What if Diddy is an addict and Cassie exploited his addictions? Ooh, that's a great question. Just the Fact says Diddy was also facing forfeiture of his empire. They wanted his life and his empire. Diddy had no choice but to fight. Exactly. Yeah, because if he would to have taken the plea, it would have been him having to say in court, I am guilty of all the charges. You know what I'm saying? So with him saying that he was guilty of a RICO, like I explained a couple of other podcasts, that him being guilty of a RICO, they could have went for all of his assets and all of his money. And with them going for all of his money, it'd be all the money that he made, which was used to purchase his mom's house, which was used for trust funds for his kids, which was used for college funds for his kids. So not only will they take his money, but they're going to take his family.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And that was the main thing that I was like, he does not need to get the RICO, because his mama and his kids don't deserve to not have that money. You know what I'm saying? His twins just graduated college. Not just graduated college, graduated high school. His other daughter graduated high school last year. Like, they going to college, you know what I'm saying? Like, so now they can't have their future because y'all trying to put this shit on their dad. You know what I'm saying? Like, none of that shit would be fair. And then on top of that, y'all taking the daddy away from Baby Love. Like, Baby Love is what, 2, maybe?
Yeah.
So it's just like that shit wouldn't have been fair.
This is what I'm saying. So I'll say this, because I get and that's, I get to this dilemma, and just to be quite honest with everybody that's listening to us right now, I get to this dilemma of they tried to railroad him because he's a black man. And I do get to that dilemma to the point where I do fight with myself. At the same time, I'll say this. With the judicial system, sometimes we get so clouded and mucked up when it comes to certain things, especially when it comes to people having enough money for lawyers. We get to a level of nobody actually is able to take accountability for their actions. Mm-hmm. And I will say this on record. I really do respect that Puffy beat the feds. 100%. And I'll say that on record. I'm 100% glad that Puffy beat the feds. At the same time, I'll say this. Puffy is not a good person. And I think, for me, I don't know about everybody else, because everybody else, you want to put the law in there. And like, I'm going to put the law in there, but I'm going to say this. Puffy's a bad person. Puffy's a woman beater. Puffy is a narcissist. And then Puffy is transporting people to have sex, even when they don't want to have sex. That's a problem. He's a monster. Like, let's not get off the big picture. Everybody like, yeah, Puffy free, Puffy, bop, 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 bop. This is Hollywood. Hollywood is not fucking real, y'all. I'm talking about real shit. Puffy is a fucking problem in real time. I don't know if he's reformed. I don't know any of that. I know from rumors from 1990 fucking 3 to all the way now, and this shit is coming into fruition. This motherfucker is a monster. I'm not saying you gotta throw Puffy in jail, but nobody holds Puffy accountable for the shit that he does. Hold Puffy accountable for certain shit. Not only hold Puffy, hold everybody who is under Puffy accountable for the shit that Puffy is doing. Yeah, he didn't get caught on a RICO. Cool, he didn't get caught on a RICO. But at the same time, this nigga, I don't, we can get off the freaky shit. Whatever freaky shit you own, bop. It is the fact that you were making people doing it unwillingly.
And that's where my problem lies. I don't think he was making them do it unwillingly. I think that was cap. I'm sorry. I think that was cap. I think that was straight up cap. Like all of a sudden now it's a problem. But, and then, okay, fine. Maybe today you don't want to do a freak off. Maybe like who in a relationship, a situationship, whatever the ship that you want to be on, who does everything that their mate wants them to do. There are some times when you are in a ship that you may not want to do something that your mate wants you to do. So is doing something that your mate wants you to do that you don't want to do going to be federal charges all of a sudden on Mad Day? That's the president that I was saying that if he is found guilty of all this shit, that we are going to have a problem with. Because in any relationship, if for some reason you don't want to get hit from the back this day, and then this man then pissed you off a month later, now are you going to be able to go to the police station and tell them that you were coerced into getting hit from the back? Now I want some charges against him, and that's not what it is. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that to me is crazy. That to me is crazy.
And I'll give you that. I'll give you that 100%. Like we've talked about this,
yeah,
tremendously, and I've said like some of this shit is all fucking cap. Like,
yeah,
and not to disrespect any of the women, you know. So I'm gonna call Cassie, but you know, Jane Doe, which we know is 50 Cent baby mama. You know, this bitch. Yeah, like I get that. Like a couple of things. So I and when I say this again, like I said, I'm gonna just bring the law into it. Mm-hmm. I'll just get on this. Yeah, it could be ins and outs of that, but prostitution was still there. I said that from the jump. I told y'all from the jump when we was talking. I said if anything, he's gonna get hit with that because you cannot do that. That is something you can't do. Now, I thought the RICO case was going to stick just because, again, and it's not being on no extra. It's just me as a black man. I've seen niggas go to jail for a lot less.
Right.
But I'm not mad that it didn't stick. At the end of the day, yes, you cannot pay a motherfucker to come. You know what I'm saying? To fly here and go over there for a sexual act. You cannot, that's illegal. I've been telling y'all that's fucking illegal. I don't care how y'all word it. I've been telling you, all of my niggas I on this that's listening to me, I said, hey man, y'all need to really be watching out how y'all do these Facebook and these Instagram models, because they can turn around and throw that shit on you. Mm-hmm. You can't do that. We have to, like, let's get the emotions out the way. Throw the emotions out. Like, and I know you've been doing that this whole time. Throw the emotions out and really just be like, all right, boom, it is illegal for you to do this shit. It's illegal for you to say, oh, I just want him to dance at Junior's birthday party, but he wanna fuck him. That's illegal.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, it's illegal. He's got to get charged for something. And I told y'all, he's got to get charged for that because that's illegal.
I mean, at the end of the day, yes, it is illegal to put a prostitute on a plane. Like, it's basically what he was doing. All right, so Just the Fact says, I think the judge is thinking exactly what you're saying. Society Breakdown says, who did he traffic? Garden Tools just got flued out. Since it's a billionaire, it's just extra steps. Where was anybody saying they were forced? Where's the money exchange?
You don't have to be forced for sex trafficking. You just have to be saying, I went down here, just like they did, because they were smart. They said, we went down there to dance, and then we end up fucking, and then he kept flying us down to fuck. That's where it becomes illegal.
Yeah, right. Because like he was basically turning dancers into prostitutes, and then after the first time when he turned them into a prostitute, once they start getting flued out specifically for that and the money start getting exchanged and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And then they had the receipts on him paying for them to get on the flight. So the transportation to engage in prostitution, that was there.
And that's why I thought the RICO was gonna stick.
Yeah.
Because it was like 50 Cent baby mama paid for certain exchanges. But when it comes to Cassie was using the black or the bad boy credit card for certain things. That's why I thought that RICO was gonna stick. I've said this on record. I thought that RICO it didn't have enough juice in it.
But then this is the thing about using that bad boy credit card, because when you paid a credit card, the credit card was getting paid from several accounts, some of them being his personal account. So ultimately he was paying for it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Personally. So so the Society Breakdown says OJ was a bad person, but facts are facts. Yeah. Just the Fact says, when a woman withdraws consent from sex with a male escort meant to entertain her boyfriend and is dragged back after trying to escape, that's sex trafficking. The juror spirit Diddy for sure. What did not happen in regards to that, because excuse me, you're referencing the beating video. They are saying that's what was going on in the room, was a freak off and she was trying to escape. There's no proof. They never put that particular escort on the stand to say, hey, we were in the middle of a freak off and she said, I'm out of here. Like there was nothing, like there was one word against another. So because I said something on YouTube and then somebody said something back to me and I said the same thing back to them. I'm like, you only going off of what they're telling us. And the jury basically told us, we don't believe you because you're telling us you never wanted to do freak offs. And then you got Texas upon Texas upon Texas talking about, I never want to give up freak off. So how can we believe everything that you're saying? We don't know what the hell was going on in that other room. Like, you know what I'm saying? So,
and I totally get that, because it would have been groundbreaking if Punisher would have been like, nah, he dragged her back in the room and I had to put my dick in her mouth. Like that would have been a whole nother thing. That would have made that would have made everything stronger.
Right. But the Punisher completely said the opposite, which was crazy. And he even said he didn't understand why he was being brought up on the witness stand, because he basically was a witness for the defense. Only the prosecution brought him up. Because he said he never saw anything different. He barely even talked to Diddy. And on top of that, he wasn't trafficked. He wasn't transported or nothing like that. He's from New York. So the only time he engaged with them was in New York. So he never went across state line. Everything was on the up and up when he was around. So yeah. Why was he there? I don't know. But Just the Fact says consent can be given and withdrawn at any time. even if someone consented 100 times before, forcing or coercing them after they say no is illegal. Cassie and Jane were forced at least once, and all that is needed. Yes. You can you can withdraw consent if you change, because if you change your mind, you're okay to change your mind. That is true. And you can consent 100 times and change your mind just one time. That is also true.
Yeah.
But where's the proof? Where's the proof that this occurred? So then Just a Fact says, however, I do respect the jury point of view and their verdict. Diddy is acquitted and innocent of those charges. There is the testimony of the escort in the room where he clearly explains what happened in the room. I don't remember them talking to that specific one, but if you say they did, they did.
No, they did. I can say very clear on that. Because he did break down details. And it was certain things because so this is another reason why I thought Rico was going to it was going to stick. But it didn't. It's because when the escort was like, no, it was they flew me out, they were gonna pay me for doing this. But because I didn't do this, they didn't pay me.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm like, certain lawyers, a good lawyer will look at that and be like, they paid you for your time, but they didn't pay you for this, and they paid it on a bad boy credit card. And so that's when I was looking at, that's me, this of, my crazy life of how my family is. I was like, that shit right there will go, that'll fall right into a RICO case. But again, my family ain't never had a $400 million lawyer.
Yeah. Right. And then, even if that was the situation that he was trying to drag her back to the freak off, like that video is more than what CNN showed us. That video is 15 minutes long. And in that video, it wasn't like that was the end all be all where he dragged her all the way back to the room and then you didn't see no more. You know what I'm saying? Like that didn't occur. She eventually got up. They eventually had other interactions where they was back in the hallway. She was calling, on the phone that was in the hallway and stuff. Like it was a whole thing. People came up, like security guy came up. Like it was a lot going on in that video.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Excuse me. If she didn't want to be done, she wouldn't have eventually stayed. Like if she wanted to be done, she would have left like she was trying to leave. Especially when other people got involved. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like, again, what was like, you can't, like how you say you can't get involved in
you don't get involved in dick and pussy business.
Yeah. And on top
this
of that,
and this is what we're seeing. We're going on trial for dick and pussy business.
Yeah, like for real. Like, and then if you want to say that he's this and he's that for just off that video alone, I can't disagree. That video was bad. Don't nobody want to see no woman getting beat or dragged or anything like that. Don't nobody want to see nobody going through that for whatever
1,000%.
reason. Yeah, for whatever reason, whatever was going on in that room. If she don't want to be in that room, she has the right to change her mind and not be in that room. But is this a federal case? No.
It's not.
Should it have went this far? No. Is it our fault that he didn't get charged with domestic violence in the state of California? No. Is it his fault? Maybe. Like,
it's his fault.
No, I'm saying, is it his fault that he didn't get charged? Like, maybe it's his fault. Maybe, I mean, but then
it is his fault. He paid for it.
No, he paid for the video. But ultimately, that was in the hands of Cassie for him to get charged.
Yeah,
So
that's true. That's true.
you know what I'm saying?
That's your lawyer talking.
Yeah.
This me that was my civilian talking. That was your lawyer talking. Like, nah, Cassie didn't. She should have did that then.
Unfortunately, and and then you get the people that are saying like, oh well, you got to get into the mind of a person that's abused, and who's to tell them when they come forward? You're right. Who's to tell them when they come forward? However, when it comes to the law, unfortunately, there's a statute of limitations. There's a statute of limitations when it comes to domestic violence, and we are way past the statute of limitations in California, and we can't do shit about it. And that's just is what it is.
True.
Write your congressman if you want to change the rules. Like, it is what it is.
That's very true.
Just the fact says it was also in the hands of the hotel, which is why they paid $10 million. Exactly. Yeah. They were liable at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? And they had to give it up. Which sucks as far as the hotel is concerned, because you hire these people and you entrust them, and now they got you on a $10 million thing, and they probably don't even work for the company no more,
So to wrap it up on my end, I will say this.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't even like. We're only looking at the top layer of things, and I want to tell the people that are listening to us right now. They seized a lot of tapes, and that's why the RICO was in effect, is because they had a lot of people in those tapes, and so all of those people potentially could have been against Puffy.
Mm-hmm.
The people that were in all those tapes that they seized, they all said it was consensual. And that's my opinion. I can't say it's fact. It is just my opinion. And the reason why I say it went like that is because a lot of people don't want their career being ended. You think we watch Cassie and 50's Jane Doe. I'm gonna stop saying who she is. No, I'm not. That's 50. But we're only seeing those two testimonies. You think out of all those tapes, it was only them two?
Right.
You got your rabbit ass mind. What it was is everybody else said no, it was consensual, and then they wanted to drop it because they didn't want to be a part of this.
Mm-hmm.
This is why that RICO didn't stand.
Yeah.
I just had that conversation literally the other day. And I was like, you got to understand, out of all those videos and all of that footage, they could have put a lot of people behind bars, and they could have put a lot of people in jeopardy of losing their career. And a lot of people chose to keep their career and just say it was consensual.
Yeah. And it could have very well been consensual. You know what I'm saying? They probably just didn't want to be recorded.
Yeah, they did. But I can guarantee you, they said, "Oh no, we knew we were getting filmed." Because if they said, "I didn't know I was getting filmed," the feds are gonna automatically put you on the stand.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, this ain't what y'all think it is. This ain't one of those things where it's like, "Oh, they figured it out. They got this format." Why? No, nah. These niggas, out of all of the shit, all of the rumors, everything that you hear about,
mm-hmm.
And I hate to say it like that, but it's the honest to God truth. Everything that you hear about in the streets, just like niggas in jail tell you, hey man, the streets tell you more than the news do. And so Puffy didn't go to jail because everybody didn't want to lose their careers.
Yeah.
Or they didn't want to know what I'm saying. They didn't even want to be involved.
Right.
So a lot of people just said it was consensual and stop knocking on my door. They found just to be quite fair, they found escorts and niggas that were just real ass prostitutes. Like, it's what it. So you think if they found these niggas, you think they didn't know what I'm saying? You think they didn't pull up at these celebrities' houses?
Oh yeah.
They pulled up quick and fast. All them niggas said, "Oh no, it's consensual." Even when the nigga didn't know he was getting filmed, he was like, "Oh shit, he gonna film? You gonna film me getting my ass bust open?" Oh no, it was consensual.
Right.
I knew what was going on. Like, if y'all don't think that's what really happened, y'all out y'all rabbit ass mind.
Right. Like, I ain't got nothing for you. Like, I'm not gonna say what you want me to say, you know.
Yeah.
So Just the Fact says, prediction: within 5 years, Cassie's husband Alex Vine files for divorce and claims half. The story will come full circle. He was the mastermind all along. The personal trainer played the long game.
I get what you're saying, but I don't see it. And the only reason why I don't see it is this alone. And this is my form of debauchery. That nigga just as freaky as Puffy. He just ain't no. Like,
I don't think he's just as freaky as Puffy.
Yeah. I don't think Cassie's gonna fuck with a nigga who just want to lay you down and like hump on top of you.
Well,
I just
yeah,
don't think that's her style.
Right. Going from, if we're talking about freak levels, yes. If Diddy is up here, I can't see Alex being down here. He's not going to give her 2 pumps in a row. But I don't think he's like up here. He's not above my forehead. He may be at my forehead. Right. Like, and I got a pretty big forehead. So he may be at my forehead, but I don't think he's above my forehead.
I think he's at a point where, because Puffy's on a level where she just was like, I can't do this. But she's on a level of,
she's up there now.
Yeah, she's there. I don't think he played. I just think he's freaky enough to keep it. He found his motherfuckers got. How could I do this with saying being professional? Okay, I'll just end it like this. She found somebody that's gonna match her freak.
Is somebody gonna match my freak?
Right. Like, she found somebody that's gonna match her freak.
Right. I give you that because I mean, we all thinking of like Cassie leaving Diddy, but Diddy could have also left Cassie. So I feel like if her freak level was not up there with him, or if she was not open to elevating her freak level to be up there with him, he would have been dropped her ass.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
I just think,
like, let's just be real about the situation. She wasn't the only one in this relationship that had the option to leave. And then that's another thing, because they kept on talking about her being there because she was forced to be there or whatever the case may be. But they never really talked about when she left for good. What did he do? It feels like he let her go. You know what I'm saying?
But yeah, she turned it down, and he was on this Lil Jon turned down for what?
Yeah.
And, like, she didn't turn it all the way down. Like, if you think a nigga just gonna jump on top of her and hunch and think that's cool, like, nigga, you out your rabbit ass mind. Like, all them kids that they've been having, it's because there's some sescapades going on in that shit.
Yeah. And it was like, you know, like how relationships are. Some, like, you may be in a situation where you are on and off. Like, that was a situation where they were on and off for years. Like, that is realistic. It happens. You know what I'm saying? You can be in a relationship for that long time and it be on and off, and then ultimately it's off.
I'll go on some. I'll just tell everybody who is listening, like, you'll get a person who, you know, they like a certain thing, or they're in a certain niche. Let's say that, and then you not really into that, but you want to please them. You're gonna eventually start doing things, and their lane to like just appease. I'm not saying that like that's something you even partake in, but because you like this person or love this person, and want to be with this person, you are willing to do this shit with them. I truly believe that guy is was truly into what she was doing and totally engulfed himself in it, where it became a natural relationship between them.
Yeah.
Like, I know what I'm saying. I'm not saying that, like, I ain't saying that he ain't playing a long game. He could be, but I'm saying it's still a natural relationship. Case in point, you can mess with a chick that tell you, like, I like for a nigga to hit me in the ass, and you like, that's gay to me. Why, I ain't never gonna hit no, I'm just going for the vag. Blah. Man, if you really, if she's really putting like things in place and things in your life to make it better for you in a relationship, eventually you're gonna put it in her ass because she wants you to do it.
Yeah.
I think that's just what it is with him. Like, he's willing to do that shit because it's comfortable and it's not detrimental. It's fundamental to how he wants to live with her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Exactly. So, moving a little bit off of directly talking about the case, let's talk about some things that happened after the case. Now, we know, because I've said it before on this show, one of the people that I talked to watched every day because they were in the courts every day was Armand Wiggins. The day of the verdict, he went viral. And what he went viral for was a bit distasteful, especially if you did not know who he was or anything like that, and you just saw the video. So what happened was that he was outside the courthouse, which everybody was outside the courthouse. They had been outside the courthouse for a minute, a lot of things were going on outside the courthouse. One of the things was he and another content creator, they pretty much was about to do a video of Armand having baby oils spread on him. So basically in this video, because if you watch Armand throughout the trial or whatnot, him saying more oil as he was discussing these testimonies and whatnot, when they kept talking about the more oil or the baby oil and whatnot, baby oil was a big deal to Diddy.
He a mad man for that. I said it.
Yeah.
I said it on this podcast. I said, man, be careful. Be careful.
Yeah. So that baby oil was a big deal to Diddy. And so when Armand would depict these stories, he would talk about the oil. And of course, he would be saying more oil because that's basically what Diddy was saying in these freak offs while he was directing the freak offs, more oil. So with that, more oil, the term more oil became a thing, especially with his watchers. And so him and another content creator, they started talking about more oil. And then the guy had a little bottle of baby oil, and he's Armand took his shirt off and he sprayed him with baby oil. The shit on the surface, if you know, right, on the surface, especially if you know the whole thing, it was funny. It was a thing basically for his supporters because he really elevated with this case. This ain't the first case he's done. This is the second, but he really elevated with this case. Yeah, but if you don't know what the context was or anything like that, it looks ridiculous. The optics were terrible. They took a clip of the video, started spreading around, went viral. All the blogs, the news shows, even CNN was talking about it. They were basically saying Diddy supporters are outside the courthouse spraying baby oil on one another.
Yep.
And the shit, the optics were bad. I ain't even gonna front. The optics were bad. So Armand trended because of that. And he went on his live that night and he explained the context, but you can't change the narrative. Even if you do give the context, you pretty much can't change the narrative. Then the next day he came out with a formal apology, because I'm assuming that once he really started really understanding how you can't change the narrative, how the optics are terrible, this looks bad, and he's been pretty unbiased this whole time, because he's pretty much said he didn't have a dog in the fight. It went into the day before the verdict where he really told his personal feelings about the case as a whole. So, my whole thing is like, shit, players fuck up.
Right,
You just gotta
right.
know. You just gotta know that at the end of the day, let's keep the inside jokes inside, because everybody's not gonna get it.
Shout out to Armand. Hey, bro,
Yeah,
you've been knocking this shit out the park for
absolutely.
a long time. I'm a piggyback off Lindsay. You just had a bad night, like, but then it's one of those things where not only did you have a bad night, your team wasn't effective. And that's how I'll put it, because if I was a part of his team, being there, I wouldn't have never did it. I would have told him, like, nah, this ain't the place to do it. Like, when we're in the podcast, when we're in our studio, like, yeah, that's fine, because it's jokes and it's laughter. But to be right there, you have to understand it's still victim in this.
Yeah.
When it's all said and done, because I don't think a lot of people really understand this. When it's all said and done, it is victims in this.
Yeah.
It's victims that didn't come forward. It's victims that did come forward, as far as the two ladies that I'm talking about. And then it's just the narcissist that he is. It ain't a bunch of fans out there for Puffy. You just had a bad game that day. You had a bad. That don't mean you ain't who you is. For anybody that is a part of the alphabet movement, because I ain't gonna mess y'all up. I follow my man Armand. I really think Armand be on some shit.
Yeah.
I follow this nigga. When after my workouts, I actually just, when I'm winding down, it's certain topics, I'll listen to him before I listen to anybody else, because he has a perspective on it that I really do respect.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So I ain't saying like, nah, don't listen to this nigga because of that type of time. No, I just know you dropped the ball right then and there.
Yeah.
And it's not your fault. It's one of those things where we're in the world, especially you as a podcaster, just like we are. You have to do things for views. Those views, it was too many negatives about that.
Yeah.
That, you know what I'm saying? That was a problem. And I just think that, you got to have a better corner when you know what I'm saying, when you playing those type of games, because that's gonna put you in a fucking hell of bullshit you don't even want. Nigga, you were just trying to be funny, and I know you was trying to be funny. Like, real shit, I watch you. So I know you was trying to be funny. You a funny nigga. Like, no, like, it's shits and giggles, but it's real talking what you say.
Yeah.
I just think at that point, like, nah, I don't know if it was the other person that you was with. Somebody should have said something.
Yeah. Like I said, players fuck up. You gotta know. Moving forward. Just gotta be mindful of what the optics are. And I mean, and you'll move forward in a positive light. I don't foresee it happening any other way. It's just like, damn, but that was that issue. Another issue that occurred was Tisa Tales. Tisa Tales, she's another YouTuber that was covering the case. She was very biased, however, with her coverage. And but in the same breath, she killed the game with it, as well. My whole thing as far as watching Tisa Tell, she has a lot of information. She's just a scatterbrain. So it's hard to keep her focused on what you need to tell us. But
it doesn't even matter. We take so many lefts. I get her.
Yeah. We take lefts, but we're not necessarily a scatterbrain. Like if we take a left, we're taking a left to another conversation. She will be in the middle of telling us something, and then it will be she'll veer off because somebody may have said something in the comments that ain't got shit to do with nothing. Or she may get a super chat, and then that'll throw her off. And then she'll have to come back and repeat the same sentence 3 times because she's trying to get her bearings back. And so it's a lot going on. So maybe if she had a producer, she'll be able to calm down. But somebody said that she got ADHD, and I'm like, it's on full display because whoa. But I don't know what she got. But
I mean, most of us, most podcasters, or niggas that do this shit, like our minds work fast.
Yeah. So however, with Tisa Tales, I couldn't watch her too much throughout the coverage. Like I watched like every now and again because of the fact that the scatterbrain of it all. But apparently they were saying that she was lying. They're saying that she was working for the feds. They were saying all kinds of stuff about her. I don't know that to be true, but that's what they were saying. During one of her live videos, because what she would do is she would go live outside every day and give updates, like if they were on breaks and stuff like that. So after the verdict came down or whatnot, she was on live, and a couple of other people went over to where she was, and they started yelling. They started saying, "Are you going to apologize? Are you going to stop lying?" They just start saying all these type of things, So they was getting a little spicy with her. It was a man and it was a woman that they was getting a little spicy with her because of stuff that she had done throughout the case. She was getting spicy back. There's a couple of people that got videos of it. One of the people that was yelling at her was Ratchet TV. He was live while he was yelling at her. Armand was live watching it. He wasn't involved. He was just like a spectator watching it. And then Tisa Tales was live while this was going on. And so there's several perspectives that are out there of this video, right? If you look at Armand's video, she is behind those metal barricades while she's recording, and she has security. So then she gets on Nancy Grace later that day, and she is in a car while she's talking to Nancy Grace. And she's more focused when she's on Nancy Grace, because I've seen her a couple times on Nancy Grace. But apparently she told Nancy Grace this ridiculous story. And so Nancy Grace on air asked her, what happened to you? Tell us why you're talking to us in a car. She tells them that she was threatened and she had to get out of there and this, that, and the other. Never mentioned how she got spicy back. Never mentioned specifically what they said. She just said that they was threatening her. Again, there's several perspectives of this live video. Nobody threatened anybody. They were just yelling. And I was reading in the comments and everybody's like, oh, poor Tisa. We got to protect Tisa and blah, blah, blah. And I had to get in the comments. I was like, as a person that watched these lives, that didn't happen. So now I see why people are calling you a liar. Because you straight up lied on this show. So, yeah.
And so I'll play devil's advocate, and I always say it's the interpretation of what you think is happening. For a podcaster or a YouTuber or a content creator, any words of hostility, they're gonna automatically say, "Yeah, I felt threatened, or I was threatened," and nobody threatened you. Nobody said anything at all.
They didn't even get close to her.
It's what they said to you made you feel it. So it just made you feel a certain way, and this is what I don't understand. It's like, you know what you sign up for. That's one thing. I big up myself because Jasmine, best person in my life, she said that she was like, man, for you to put yourself in front of the camera like that, she was like, I admire you because I wouldn't do that. And I'm like, I'm just telling people, you know what I'm saying, how I feel. And she was like, nah, that comes with a lot of shit. And I didn't even think about it. Like, it does. It comes with a lot of shit. It comes with people gonna have a problem with what the fuck I say sometimes. And people gonna come to you. They gonna be that kind, like, and so, and not on no extra, not being no tough guy or nothing. Like, as long as it's a conversation, I'm willing to have it. Don't try to ever get physical. It's going to be a different situation. But like, I'm willing to have that conversation. Most people aren't willing to have it. They automatically say, oh no, they were being aggressive to her. No, they wouldn't. They were just asking the you know what I'm saying? Like, they were being a part of what you're doing. You're podcasting, you're content creating, and you're being right there. You can't expect them to act like you want them to act. So you can't say that it's threatening. Unless a motherfucker literally threatens bodily harm or put their hand on you, they're not threatening you. They're just telling you the shit that you're saying could get you fucked up.
They weren't even saying that. They was just like, are you going to apologize because you've been lying and you've been doing this and you've been doing that? They were just basically disrupting her life. That's basically what they were doing, was just being disruptive to her life. They weren't even walking towards her. Like I said, she had a barricade around her.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I ain't saying like they said that. I know what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying that they like, oh nah, Bob, this will fuck you. I'm just saying they motherfuckers is gonna do that. Motherfuckers is gonna come on up there and like, are you gonna apologize for this, or you gonna do this? You gotta have the bearings to be able to, cause you already on live anyway. So you gotta have the bearings to make this shit content.
Yeah. And then this is the killer part, because she was on her live. Like I said, she was getting spicy back. She was doing that. And then she was like, these broke niggas is blah, 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 blah. And it was like, whoa. Like, she stepped out of reporter mode. You know what I mean? But when she got on Nancy Grace, she was the damsel in distress. And it was so crazy. And then, yeah, like I was just like, wow. She never mentioned not one time what she was doing back or anything like that. And Just the Fact says Tisa Security was just chilling. He didn't see any threat. Exactly. There was no threat. There was literally no threat. And yeah, but she became the damsel in distress, the poor, docile woman. That's all she's trying to do is just report to her supporters and her followers what's going on at the Diddy trial, and people are threatening her life, and she had to get up out of there, and it was just like, girl.
They do that, but they do that all the time, and
yeah, but it plays into the Nancy Grace narrative. These women, because I saw Megyn Kelly, she was cussing, she was so pissed. Like, Nancy Grace, because I've seen Nancy Grace do this for 20 years. When the shit don't go her way, she's livid. She's still going off. She's on the guilty until proven innocent, and even when proven innocent, you're still guilty type of time. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we've seen Nancy Grace. Yeah. We know what Nancy Grace time be on.
Right. And this is no different, and that's what kills it for me. Like, I get it, you know what I'm saying? Especially when you're going back and forth with other lawyers and stuff like that. But it was a vast majority of lawyers that was just like, this ain't a RICO. this ain't sex trafficking. He's not like they shouldn't have brought these charges against him. This was a waste of time. It was a vast majority of lawyers saying that, but Nancy was going fucking hard, and she will not concede even when it's proven otherwise. And it's the jury's fault when it's proven otherwise. And it was just like, no, it just wasn't a good case. Just at the end of the day, it just wasn't a good case. Then, but she will not concede, and it's just like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, and you're 100% right. As much as I want to talk my shit and I say my shit about it, at the end of the day, it just wasn't a good case. And I said it wasn't a good case. So it's not like one of those things where I was just like, oh man, I'm so mad about this verdict. No, I told y'all the flaws. We've been talking about this shit for how long?
Yeah.
Like, nigga, I've been telling y'all, man, this shit is flawed.
Yeah. It really is flawed. And then, going back to the case itself, like they really try to demonize baby oil and Astroglide. And yes, it was a lot. And yes, it was salacious and it was funny.
Never ever
but it's never been
illegal in my life. I will never use that shit
even know
ever.
What the shit was. I had to Google what Astroglide was. I had no idea what that shit was.
I knew what Astroglide was. I
had no idea.
I'm a nasty nigga. Like, I'm sorry. Sorry, audience. I'm a nasty nigga. I knew what Astroglide was. I've never used an Astroglide.
I had no idea. So
that's a top tier lubricant right there.
Yeah. So one thing that I've been seeing, a lot of the people are asking the question, can Diddy bounce back? I even was asked this, and I don't know if I ever shared my thoughts on that on the show, but I have been saying it to people. Well, before I say this, Just the Fact says, in this case, the baby oil and Astroglide symbolizes acts of debauchery central to the allegation. Yes, but
exactly.
Like, I get all that, but it's not illegal to have an abundance of either one.
But when you think about all the tapes that he had, and again, I just go back to this, all the tapes that he had, and the baby oil and the Astroglide, it's like if y'all think it's just Cassie and 50 Cent baby mama, like, you are out of your rabbit ass mind. Like, y'all gotta understand that those tapes got everybody from Jennifer Anderson to Meek Mills. It's some niggas that's in these tapes that are very afraid for these tapes to come out.
Well, we don't know for sure if those two people are
allegedly. I'm just saying. It's like, you didn't out even doing the math. Mm-hmm. Let's do the math on the Cassie and Jane Doe freak-offs. At best, those are like 50 times. They seized way more tapes than that.
Yeah. Well, they were saying, like, as far as Cassie was concerned, I think they were doing them like every week. So, I don't know.
Every week.
That's
every week. It's 26 weeks out of a year.
No, it's 52 weeks.
Oh, excuse me. Yes.
Yeah. You're thinking of pay periods. You're thinking of pay periods.
No.
Right.
If we thinking about that, then let's put it in perspective of 52 weeks a year. They showed a couple of tapes.
Yeah.
A couple.
And you showed them enjoying themselves. That's the killer part about it. It's like, why are you even showing the freak offs? Because from what I understand, they was enjoying themselves in the freak offs. So
exactly.
Yeah.
So you're showing these tapes. But he had at least 100 more tapes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, he had at least 100 more tapes.
Yeah.
Them tapes didn't include them.
No.
And that was just niggas saying, "Oh no, we did. It was consensual."
Yeah.
Because I don't want my career ruined. Just imagine, because they even 50 Cent baby mama was like, you know, I was trying to tell him he's a cockhold, and you know, he can explore this and explore this. He was doing that shit outside of her.
So was she, but I digress. So,
I'm not saying that she that it was one of those things where this is a legal matter. This is just me talking on a personal level with that nigga. Like, that nigga was doing more shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And those tapes prove that he was doing more shit. The people on them tapes were saying, "Oh no, it's consensual," because they didn't want to get exposed.
Right. Exactly. You know, and I'm not mad at him. But yeah.
Yeah, because just imagine you got TD Jakes somewhere, like even if he wasn't taking dick, but if he was throwing back shots while Diddy was jacking off on the side, like TD Jakes is not gonna say that out loud. TD Jakes is gonna be like, no, it was consensual, and I don't have to, because it was consensual. I don't have to say that shit. I just told you right now. You have my statement. I'm gonna walk away. They can't put it in trial.
No.
You wanted to be a lawyer growing up. You know, if I just say it's consensual, it's nothing I can do if they try.
Yeah. I'm not doing this off of that part. I'm just doing this off of you just gonna put TD Jakes in there.
I did. I did.
Jeez.
I did that, and
oh geez.
Yeah, and you know, who's gonna stop me? Like, who's gonna stop me from saying it? Y'all think
Society breakdown.
TD Jakes a freak, y'all.
Society breakdown says, "Have you ever been swallowed?"
Have you ever been swallowed up? TD Jakes a freak, y'all. He a freak. If y'all don't think he a freak, I'm so that's on y'all. I think TD Jakes is a real fucking freak.
Sometimes them pastors are the nastiest ones, you know.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying he's a freak on it's illegal. I'm saying he's a freak.
You know, people was outside wearing shirts saying Freako, not Rico. Hey, you know,
I mean, at the end of the day, what it really came into was that nigga just being that nigga nasty. Let's just keep it 100. Like,
yeah, he a nasty individual.
You know, let's just keep it 100 when we say what's legal and what's illegal. It is very legal for you to be nasty. It is very illegal for you to transport prostitutes.
Yeah, you supposed to get them locally.
Yeah, like, it is what it is. It's very legal for you to be a freak. It's very illegal for you to get a freak from Nebraska when you stay in my town.
Right.
I don't give a fuck how good of the head she gives. Right. Can't pay for that visit.
Right. Or have them pay for their own visit, and then just give them a gift. That's how you get around.
Exactly. It's illegal. Let them
because
pay for their own presentation, and then just be like, "Hey, you did a good job. Here go your $40." I don't know.
Right. You notice how on Zelle or Cash App now they are making you put what's it for?
Yep.
Like it's required now. So just put gift. So whenever you pay that $40 through Zelle or Cash App, just put gift.
Yeah, they definitely making you do that. I just did that shit with a Cash App. I was like, God damn, why this shit ain't going through? And I'm like, for fluorine. I had to knock that shit down like, Jesus. Because he was like, I ain't got my money yet. And I'm like, nigga, what are you talking about? I just gave you that.
Right. So yeah, I have to move money throughout my accounts, and I'll be like, for me, shit. That's what it's for. It's for me. Like, so
shit. My nigga just he just did my son's room, and I was like, he was like, I ain't getting the money. I'm like, what do you mean you ain't getting the money? He was like, it ain't coming to him. I was like, And I looked at it. It was a whole like it was standing right there, like the little red and all that. I'm like, 4 floor rings,
Right.
Put the floor down. Jesus, like.
Right. I wonder if this case they was like, yeah, we got to make this required. I wonder if that's what it was, because it been required for a minute on Cash App, but now it's a requirement on Zelle. So I don't know, but anywho, yeah. So we have all the foolery going on outside of the courtroom. Yeah. Oh, so there's this one clip which really sucks right now because I tried to pull it up on StreamYard. StreamYard will not let me pull it up, and I'm so mad about this because I gotta show it, but I gotta show it in a real ghetto ass way. So I was watching Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan had a really good show. He had these lawyers on, and one of the lawyers, she was an embarrassment to Black women because she just was doing too much. But the clip is not about this. So he had that panel first, and then he went on to have a panel with Young Jock, who we know was signed to Diddy at one point, and we Sammy the Bull, who was famously
A snitch.
Yeah, famously a snitch, but he was like a maid. I think he was a maid man, or
he was a hitman. He wasn't a maid man.
Okay,
yet.
he was a hitman, and so like he famously is known for turning snitch and giving up a lot of people, and what have you. So there's this clip that I had to screenshot because when I watched it, I was rolling. So they brought up when 50 Cent put out that post and said how Diddy beat the case and how he's the gay John Gotti.
Yep.
And so this was Sammy the Bull's reaction to it. So I got to play it.
That's violence.
Yes.
Now,
No, I agree. As we're talking, 50 Cent has given a reaction on Instagram. Did he beat the feds? That boy is a bad man. Beat the Rico. He's the gay John Gotti. What's your response to that, Sammy?
I don't like the thing. I think he's half gay because he met women and men, so you could call him gay. John Gotti was not gay. John Gotti beat the government. He was flamboyant. You may not like his style, but to label him as gay.
To be clear, he doesn't call it. I think he's saying he's the gay version of John Gotti because Gotti, of course, did beat the rap as well. So I think he's making the point that Diddy is the gay version. He's not actually saying John Gotti was gay.
Okay, I understand it a little better now. If that's what they want to call him, that's up to them. All this mudslinging about all of this stuff, whether he's gay, whether he's black, whether he's whatever it is, whatever, that's all bullshit.
Wow.
Case, the government screwed up. They hit him with a Rico case. It didn't fit. People didn't understand it. And the evidence was there. Men were on the stand. You had a few men talking, especially the guy sitting right next to me.
Yeah.
Talking. They seemed pretty open and honest about it. Doesn't matter if he's black or white. Doesn't matter if he's gay or straight. He's telling you the truth. It sounds like the truth. And the woman basically is saying the same thing. So why would I not believe him? Because he's black?
Yeah, I think bringing his color into it and the gender thing, I didn't really get all that. Let me bring young Jock back in. You wanted to...
That's fine.
I was like, that's just like an old person. Like, hold on, John Gotti was not gay.
First and foremost, listen. I'll say this. Sammy the Bull, thank you for letting us know that nigga was gay for real. Because you said it without saying it.
Right. That's how I was like, oh.
You said it without saying it. Thank you for letting us know this nigga Herb was a... Whoa, I was about to be derogatory. And I'm not.
I was cracking up. He was like,
I
why?
mean,
Because he hung out with men and
like, thank you for telling us that he's gay. Like, thank you for saying that. Didn't know that until you tried to explain it.
Right.
Thank you for explaining it. That man was gay.
I hollered when that happened. Like, and Jock is like, oh shit. Oh my God.
Jock knew. Right. All that extra word salad, it was like, oh, that nigga was gay for real. Like, that's what he was in his head. He was like, "Oh shit, I didn't know that nigga Gotti was gay." Like, oh shit. Okay, let's just ride on it. I would have did the same thing. You see how I was holding back my laugh the whole time, like, yeah, just be gay.
Right. He was like, John Gotti was not gay. Why? Because he hung out with men and women. Like, what? Like, whoa.
Explanation was stupid. He was gonna keep himself, and I'm glad that he changed it, because he was gonna Sammy the Bull was gonna be like, what? So he's gay? So what? You know, because he's been to a couple of gay bars. I don't mean he's gay.
Right.
You know, he had business over there. So what? He's gay because I caught him in the back alley sucking a man's dick. He was getting information. Right. Nigga, he's gay. What are we doing?
Right.
What the fuck are we doing?
Right. Out of all things that the Diddy trial has taught us, I never had this on my bingo card that John Gotti being gay was one of them.
No. Not in a million years would you have told me that I would have been discussing John Gotti being gay, but I was 100% sure now that John Gotti was gay. Thank you, Sammy. You're a snitch. You tell on people anyway. You said it. You said it.
Dude. So yeah. Huh. Yeah.
Wow. I just think it would have been. He would have been like, well, so what? He like to put on panties and bras sometimes. I've seen him cut people with those panties and bras on. Nigga, he's gay. What are you doing?
Right. Oh my God. Like,
so what? I seen him having. He was sitting down. And he was holding hands intimately with another man. It was fucking Sunday. It was a brunch. What are you like? No.
It was about to pray. Like, it was about to pray. You know. So yeah.
I always hold my grandfather's hand. That was a 22-year-old Mexican. Like, he's having sex. What are we doing? What the fuck are we doing? It was too many.
Jesus.
So what? Because he had female and male friends. You're just gonna call him gay? Yeah. Well, I called him. You know, telling his best friend he was the best bottom he ever had. Like what are we talking about? Like, Sammy, stop. Stop. Stop before you say something. Something. Stop before you say something that hurts you.
Right. I know his daughter Karen seeing that, like, geez, Dad, fuck. Like,
it was way too much explanation for that. If you know your dude ain't gay, just be like, hey, nah, my dude wasn't gay. Like, boom. Like, I don't know what y'all talking about. Like, nah, he wasn't gay.
Right. It's like, hold on. Like, they had to pull it back. Like, hold on, that's not what 50 was.
Exactly. That's why he had to go to Young Jock, and Young Jock couldn't do nothing but laugh. Because if Young Jock has the mentality I have, I would have been like, let's keep talking. Sammy, keep saying your explanations, because I know it's going to get worse from here.
Right.
I know it's going to get worse. So what? I called him like, I caught him interrogating somebody by jacking his dick off and asking him where's the information. Like, that doesn't mean he's gay. Yes, it does.
Right.
Fuck, it does. What the fuck are we talking about?
Hey, oh my God. When I
He
tell
told
you,
us where the Jews was. He would have told you anyway. That was just extra.
Right. It was John Gotti. He would have definitely told him.
Like, he just did it because he wanted to. Niggas gay.
It is what it is. Boy, this is the trial that keeps on giving, boy. Now we know we can't get flued out no more. Now we
You
know.
better not get flued out no more,
Right.
man. Listen, for my
You gotta
dudes,
be strategic with your flued outs.
yeah, for my dudes, man. Hey, man, you gotta, and you can't even do an NDA no more because they can dispute that.
Yeah, like I said, they've signed it under duress, and then on top of that, in a criminal trial, it doesn't matter. An NDA doesn't matter. So, oh, yeah,
You gotta know who you fucking with. At the end of the day, you gotta know what you fucking with. Do your research, and it's.
yeah.
I'm so glad that this is coming to light on the level of this. Yeah, you can't go through. I met her 3 days ago. I know what I'm saying. I was just peeping the vibe. Like, no. That should tell you right now. Stop fucking with people who are crazy. People out their rabbit ass mind, and some people look for a cash grab. Like,
Yeah. And if you're gonna do something, you got to do it in cash and reimburse people. Let's just do it like that. Like, you got to pay for your own ticket, and then they got to reimburse you in cash. I'm just telling y'all how to get around the law, I guess. But
yeah, that was get around the law. I didn't even say that. Like, only I would be the one to say that type of shit. I didn't even say that. I'm just like, be mindful.
Yeah.
Be mindful of the motherfucker be like, I ain't got no place to stay, and I live in Anchorage, Alaska. Like, well, bitch, you gonna be homeless in Anchorage. I'm not about to fly you out here.
Right. I mean, yeah. So yeah, this is the verdict for, the Diddy trial. And this is our Diddy update.
Bow, 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 bow. Get that baby oil. Bow, 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 bow.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't have no final thoughts. So Jerry's final thoughts, take it away.
Appreciate y'all for sitting here rocking and listening to us for this podcast. I don't care how long it goes. Eventually we're gonna get monetized and we're gonna make money. And we're gonna do a lot of things for y'all because this is what we're doing it for. But I'll do this because this is something that I've seen that nobody is really talking about. Shout out to Big Boy. Love you to death. You are an icon. You helped me through my teenage years with your partner, Andre 3000, creating a group called Outcast. A couple of days ago, you lost your uncle, my guy. And you lost your uncle on some road rage shit. Not on no he owed somebody this or he was doing this or doing that. No, it was somebody that was mad and bust random shots and happened to shoot that man in the back. I pray for you. I pray for your family. I pray that you have the resolve to understand that let justice do what it needs to do, and you don't do anything to make a mistake. Again, you was instrumental for my teenage years and my adult life, so I would never want you to make a bad decision. And as always, take care of yourself and others.
Yeah. I didn't hear about that, but our condolences go out to that man's family, and rest in peace to his uncle.
Yeah. That
really sucks.
Yeah, that was wild. when I seen that, I was just like, man, listen, like, because I get it, big boy's a big deal, and being a big deal, certain people, you can do some shit that most people ain't gonna do. That's why I say, hey, don't let justice be justice. Don't do, because the dude turned himself in, and then they end up picking up the lady that was in the car. But it was all road rage. Like they just really picking up. Now I don't know how Atlanta moves. Excuse me. So it could have been different, but I'm saying how they placing it, and how they placing it is road rage. Don't jump off the porch for road rage. Let justice be justice.
Yeah. Speaking of Atlanta, I will be there Wednesday. So I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna film next week or not.
We'll film that, especially if you're in Atlanta. Yeah, we definitely got to film.
Okay, so we filming next week then.
We filming next week.
All right, so we will see you guys next week, and I will have a full report from the Chitlin tour.
Yeah, as long as you got good Wi-Fi, we film.
Yeah. All right, bet. So we will see you guys next week, and I will be reporting live from the A.
From the A. I have this. I don't know. I think it's the Mississippi blood in me. I even when I say Atlanta, I sound like David Banner. Hey. I gotta have the roughness to it, and they ain't even like that. They too flamboyant. Like these niggas are flashy as fuck.
Damn. All right.
When I be like, hey, like nah, that ain't how they do it. They just be on some like real Atlanta flashy bullshit.
Yeah, but I'm excited. I just got the last pieces to my outfit today, so I'm excited. Now, what I'm gonna wear on them other days while I'm there, I have no idea. And when I tell you I ain't packed a pair of socks, I probably won't pack till Wednesday. Shit. But I'm excited. I'm ready. Yeah. I'm ready to go.
And the last vacay me and Jasmine went on, she didn't pack until I was like, yeah, we got to get on a flight at like 9 in the morning. She was like, yeah, I'm gonna set my alarm to 4. I'm like, what?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
have this shit together. Like my shit was together and ready. She was just like, no, I'm just set my alarm and get ready. And I'm like, this shit is wild.
I didn't even think about packing until like a couple of days ago. I'm like, oh, I gotta put this shit in luggage.
I knew I always know what I'm wearing, and I just pack that shit up, it's already there. Boom.
Yeah, see, I've been knowing what I was gonna wear to the concert, and then I kind of like switched it up maybe like a month ago. And once I switched it up, I was like, you know what? I need to buy other shit to go with it. So, yeah, I bought it. So I will be in costume, and I'm gonna have fun.
It's the fatal flaw of women. Listen to us, y'all. For my man that are watching me, you are not alone in this. We do this. We just be like, all right, we'll pack clothes because we know we're going out of town or we're going on an outing. We pack clothes. Women, they in the very last minute of everything, they decide how they makeup gonna look and what they gonna wear.
That's another thing.
15 minutes before we get on the goddamn flight.
Man,
it has nothing to do with the whole week preparing for it. No, they want it on real time. And I think, that's only my opinion, the reason why I think women do that is because they don't want to second guess themselves.
Yeah, right. I'm still gonna bring both outfits because, I have wardrobe malfunctions. So The other one will be packed as
Yeah, because you got big ass titties.
Gee, thanks, cuz.
My bad, cuz. Like, I've been knowing you for forever. Like, now I wasn't saying that on no derogatory shit. I'm like, nah, cuz got big ass titties.
Yeah,
the motherfuckers might pop out somewhere.
You know, like, yeah, you know.
You might be like, I'm gonna wear this corset. This corset ain't built for your titties.
No, it don't be. And the bra be on and it be showing and shit. I don't give a fuck. Like, it's whatever. Because
I get it.
Yeah, it just is what it is.
You know both my sisters. that's both my sisters just from my mama. You don't even know the other 8. Like,
right.
Both my sisters from my mama. Like, yeah, I've been through there in my whole. I thought this was gonna be nice. That shit popped right on open. These niggas been having titties since they was 10.
Right. But still, they have a mind of their own. They really do. So, like I said, I be having malfunction. So we gonna see. But you know, we gonna be in costume regardless. So yeah.
What, you going to Cowboy Carter?
Yep, sure am.
Yeah, as you supposed to, and shut down that negative shit that they doing.
What's the negative shit?
Oh, she washed up. She ain't moving like she used to.
No,
man, this lady is 40 years old. Let that bitch do her thing.
She 40 plus, man. She's still out there doing way better than people have her age. And the killer part about it is that you can see the proof. It's all over Twitter. Like, she's still top tier, and we just saw it on fucking Christmas. We just saw it on Christmas. So the people that was talking that shit, anywho, I'm going.
Like, man, come on, man. Beyonce, they lied to we none of us know how old Beyonce is. I will say this. I am 42. I think Beyonce is older than me. I think this bitch is like 47, but she swears she ain't. But I'm know what I'm saying. I'm gonna let it ride on whatever.
Right. Because they got that industry age. Now her industry age is older than us. But
if our industry age is older than us, then this bitch is 50.
Yeah.
Like, y'all gotta give her a break.
Yeah. But I mean, and she's still doing high level shit. So I'm just like, whatever. And she ain't at Mariah's level yet, where she got people moving her arms and feet and waist and all that. Like, I don't think she'll ever be on that level.
You know, I shoot you down every time. If you ever was like, I'm going to go see Mariah, I'm like, for what, nigga? You can make a Toy Story and just put her song in the background. Like, you can move.
Right, just get a Barbie.
Move your toy.
Right.
Go get a Barbie and just do this shit.
Right.
And that's your concert.
That's it. You know, give me your love. 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 Like, yeah.
That's exactly what you're going to get. Exactly what you're going to get. That lady fucked up.
She said, I make too much money to ever move by myself anymore.
You made so much money that you can't move by yourself.
Like,
that's just what it is.
Right.
Like, you again, we supposed to be gone.
We are talking like we are not still recording.
Yeah, we're live. We're live. We're supposed to be live,
baby. We live. But yeah, so we will be here next Friday. Yeah, Friday.
We'll be here for it. I'll be here for it.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll be here next Friday. So this was episode 165 of the Ish We Talk, and we will see you guys for 166. Bye.
Exactly.